couple of minutes late, everybody. Give me one more second. I'm sorry. Hello, everybody. Hi. I hope you're all having a wonderful start to your week. God knows I am not. I am not awake yet. I am struggling. I hope you're doing well. I hope you guys are having a great start to your day, start to your week, yada, 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 rhetoric, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I barely slept. My child has taken it upon herself to be very, very stubborn when it comes to sleep. I don't understand this about babies. I will never understand the evolutionary advantage of I really, really need sleep. Therefore, I'm going to scream and make it impossible for myself to sleep and fight it with every fiber of my being to make myself more tired so I can't sleep. I will never understand this. No sleep, gang, let's go. Oh my, it's not good. You can't, like, newborns not sleeping is not good. And the thing is, right, so I look and I see how long she's actually, like, slept for the day, right? Like, in the 24-hour period. She slept 25 hours. She slept 15 hours in a 24-hour period. So, like, I just don't know where that time is. I just don't know where that time is. I'm like, where are these 15 hours? I don't know it. I don't understand. Ciao, hello, Antonio. Would be an interesting question for a research paper. I'm sure they know the answer already. It's just whatever. Sleep is for the week, next week, or the week after. Yeah, but the problem is for you and me, it's fine. For newborns, their developmental stage, they need it. Because like, and the problem is also newborns can't. They're not good at putting themselves to sleep. So you have to help them. So like my back hurts so bad because I have just been holding her for hours and hours of picking her up, rocking her, helping her get to sleep, putting her in her crib, picking her up, helping her get to sleep. Oh my God. And now I have Dawn being absolutely demonic again. Dawn, why do you make my life hell? Why? I'm trying just to stream for like a little bit, please. Actually gonna blow a gasket. Hello. Okay. All right. I'm back. Just remember this: a dolphin baby won't sleep in their first month. That means that their mother does not either. I mean, a dolphin baby is completely irrelevant to me in this circumstance. But yes, I do understand that I don't get to sleep because baby does not sleep. Dawn time lionesses are always good mamas. I am trying my best, Joe. I'm trying my best. I really am. Also, my music decided to only go once and not loop because why wouldn't it? I have a cup of coffee. You would think, look, so here's the reason why I'm so tired, even though it's 11 a.m. So the way that Yura and I do it is we space them out, right? So, so basically I do the first shift. So from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. I let Yura sleep. It's never that easy. Like, the baby will never really allow it to be that easy. But then from 1 to 6, I supposedly get to sleep again. Not that easy. Then from 6 to 8, we try to get Yuri to sleep. And then from 8 to 10, I try to sleep. It never works out that easily. It never, ever works out that easily. To be fair, okay, I was gonna look here as sleeping because they turn off half their brains at a time. Dawn is legitimately Dawn is a core knight champion. She destroys everything she touches. She literally would destroy everything. And I open the door to go upstairs, right? Because the cats aren't allowed upstairs, and she books it at full speed the second that door opens. How's it going? It's going okay, Alan. How about you? We do have some fun videos lined up for today. I had things to talk about. I swear I had things to talk about. But like my brain is just like, nah. I don't even remember where my eye bags are. Is it this one? No. This one? No. This one? There we go. I'm keeping the eye bags on today. Eye bags are how I feel. I talked about this on Twitch. But the poster for Patreon's out. The poster for Patreon is out. So anybody who's a patron can go and collect the poster. It's really cool. I think it came out great. So yeah, that's there. What else? The art for the coffee bags are done. And I got some other art too. Lots more stuff to do as well, but we're getting there. New York mom tuber? Yes, of course. Absolutely. We get the best is what. Yeah. So we're getting Gotrek and Felix today. I don't know if I'm gonna do another mini Minutemen, because right now I'm 2 for 2 on them going pretty poorly. I also posted the first episode of the Nuzlocke, and like I stayed up a little bit last night trying to make sure I get it out and everything. And man, it sucks when you do it work. What's happening? I'm just talking with chat right now. It sucks when you put in the work and you get nothing back. Like I posted it and I think it's like my worst performing video in like 4 months, something like that. I didn't think it would be disliked, or it's not even that's disliked. It's just not clicked. New York City. Yeah, I'm looking right now. I mean, yeah. I love rewatching the Nuzlocke, even if it bombed. Yeah, no, it just means I don't know if I'm gonna post the other parts. It just yeah, like I just don't know if I'm gonna post any other parts. But yeah, I'm probably gonna have to put a Dylan video out today because, like, non-Dylan videos are doing, I mean, not non-Dylan, but just like the last couple have just been doing pretty poorly. The alert for the Nuzlocke popped up way later for me, like 15 hours late, and it's fine. To be fair, YouTube hasn't even shown it was up yet. That's so weird. That's so weird. Yeah, no, if you guys want to help out the Nuzlocke video, if you guys want to do that little stupid hype thing for it, you can give up to 3 hypes per video. So like that would be the one to do it, because it is struggling and it is unique content. It's not just reaction content. Also, I had to have it edited and shortened and everything. I tried my best to make it as nice as I could. I didn't that's the thing. Okay, so this is the thing that I don't like that YouTube does. YouTube by default has like a special type of notification on, right? I believe it's called personalized notifications. You don't have all notifications on. If you have personalized notifications and you follow my content, it's only gonna give you the go ahead for reactions. Whenever I do anything else, it does not notify my community. It deliberately does that, and I don't understand why it does that. It's actually insane, because the logic that YouTube has is that it is the logic is something along the lines of like, if this is not what your viewers subscribe for, we don't want to clutter their notification tab. So they cripple you as a creator for trying to jump away from doing the only thing that they like. It's really bad. It's really bad. You have to manually select all. Yeah, like, because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I have 18,000 recent subscribers, or about to be 18,000 recent subscribers. Like 15,000 of that 18,000 are from the last 3 months. So I have a pretty active viewer base. There's no way only 200 people fucking saw this video. Thanks for doing a Gotrek and Felix react in my first Warhammer Fantasy series. That's awesome. I'm still super new into... oh my god, my voice is going too. I'm still super new into fantasy. I was actually... Funny enough, I was talking to Pancreas last night. And I'm like... Because I was asking him about his armies. I'm like, ooh, Pancreas, can you show me your armies? No. And he's like... He was talking about the size of some of the old world ones. And I'm like, old world is fantasy, right? I'm like, all I know from fantasy is like 4 of your videos, and they're all Skaven. Good morning, brothers. Hi, TJ. How are you? You got my 3 hypes. I love you for that. Thank you so much. Dude, I think I'm getting sick. I don't think the lack of sleep would destroy my voice this much. GW just released a new photo of the new Chaos Space Marine. Oh. Gotrek and Felix are him, if there were 2 of him. I've heard terms for them, but I won't say it on YouTube, maybe on Twitch. Did you see the updates coming to you? No. What updates coming to YouTube? I can't believe you're nearly at 20K. It's deserved, but completely insane. I feel like I slowed down a lot, which is fine and reasonable and understandable. I want to get myself a little award at 25K. I feel like giving myself an award at 25 and 50K is a fair thing. I thought about doing it at 10K, but I'm like, I don't need to retroactively do it. Let me reward myself when I achieve something. Is that a kid? That's Dexter. He actually passed away in October. He is very, very special to me, so I made sure to have him put in my background. With the proximity to a Nurgling, I'm surprised you avoided grandfather. But the thing is, babies don't just carry diseases and germs by themselves. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, the reason why they say kids are always sick is because they're doing things they shouldn't be doing. Newborns don't get sick. In fact, you really want to avoid them getting sick at all costs. Like, you don't go anywhere. You don't see people. So, like, I've barely had anybody over the house. So I don't know. I don't know. My sinuses have been killing me, definitely. Like, but yeah, no, I'm surprised. Yura's been coughing all morning, and like my voice just suddenly went even worse. I have the Nuzlocke on mute in the VG. I hope that helps. No clue how YouTube functions. Nah, I don't either, but I appreciate it. Yeah, if you want to help me out, go to the Nuzlocke video, let it play in the background. Give it a thumbs up and do the little hype things. So it goes a long way. I don't think we're salvaging this the video. Like, I really don't think we're salvaging it. But we take what we can get. My cousin actually had to go to the hospital earlier because he's running a 103 fever and is red all over. That's insane. That's insane. Wait. Mute the tab, not the video, for the view to count. There you go. There you go. Dolphins is solving all the things in the world. I need to have a sip of my coffee. Dude, I don't know. Rallo, so we think that because that would make sense. The problem with that is that if you're using Chrome, it's the same company. And I wouldn't be surprised if this company has something in place to treat, like, to let them know if you're doing that. You know? Greetings, Jeff. Oh, Jeff's here. Okay. I miss such a will do. Okay. Greetings, Jeff. I hope the stream's been well. How fare thee? I'm okay. I'm a little bit sick. This is why you use Firefox. I mean, a lot of people tell you to use Opera, but again, it also depends on a bunch of different things too. Oh, wait, that's actually really cool. Wait. What is this thing? Sorry, there's something I need to actually find because this is actually really cool. God, I can't click things anymore. My brain is like putty. My brain is like literally like putty right now. I'm so sorry. Okay, there we go. All right. Leave that open for later. Close out of this. Okay. Okay. Sorry, again, too many things open at once. Too many things open at once. But yeah. So we're gonna start watching the Gotrek and Felix video. I'm trying to think, there were other things to talk about. I mean, anybody who was around for yesterday got to watch the most ridiculous Pokemon box opening. So that was really cool. I hate that I don't have a lot to say. I actually hate that because like I want to be very high energy today. I want to be able to have good video, but like I'm like running on fumes, and I know that that's not entertaining, so I apologize. I'm pleased the stream's been well. Sick, tired, money. Appreciate your stream. Thank you, Orlock. I appreciate that. Also, that reminds me to turn off the Streamlabs sound effects. There we go. But thank you. BB blessed the opening. She really did. She really did. I was sick with the flu 2 weeks ago. Normally I'm over it in like 3 days. This one took a full week. No problem. We get it, but yeah, you can get it. But I need to actually get myself together. I just got off your conspiracy reaction, and frankly, I need something to distract me because, good lord, are those conspiracy nuts. Dude, they make me pissed off. Like, those conspiracy nuts are fucking terrible. Excuse my language. I had to work through the stream yesterday. It sucked. I'm sorry, Rallo. I understand. I really do. I hear BB. She's not doing anything, though. How do you take your coffee? Black. I was thinking of like a really unhinged joke, like how do I take something else, but like, yeah, I just drink black coffee. Am I late? Nope. Nope, just me here. Me starting the day off. Me starting the day off with everybody. We're gonna be watching Gotrek and Felix soon. On time? Yeah. Oh, like I said, I mentioned it before, but I did get my artwork for my coffee bag done. So, the actual Tetra coffee will come out in the summer. I think that's when they said that the window for all of the logistics would be done. So that's really exciting for me. Like I can't wait for my coffee brand to, or my coffee partners to have that. How do you take your rats full of warpstone? Got to make sure they're doing lots of that warpstone. Also, another thing I realized, so when I was talking to Pancreas last night, I realized that our collab is scheduled literally at the start of the Super Bowl. We literally start the same minute the Super Bowl starts. With respect. Where might I find the forbidden knowledge which echoes upon the ancient, wait, what? Or as water conjun have to mention about part of Belgian cuisine, huh? Oh, huh? What? Great timing. I mean, does anybody really care about the Super Bowl? I don't even know what teams are playing. Warpstone filled rats, huh? Wait, you don't want warpstone filled rats? So what did I miss? Nothing. You missed me having a pity party for not sleeping. Other than that, we're good. With respect, American football is the third worst sport ever. So here's the thing. American football would be a drastically better sport if it was not completely co-opted by advertisers, right? Like, I'm not a sports person at all, but football as a whole is fine. The problem is that it's 30 seconds of deliberation, 4 seconds of gameplay, and then 2 minutes of ads. It is like the most egregious microtransaction level of like bullcrap ever. If the game just played through, it would be way better. When it comes to sports, I'm a bit of an obtuse one. I'm a hockey fan. I like hockey and I like tennis. Still looking into Pancreas or Adeptus? Yeah. Look. I love Pancreas. All right, I enjoy watching his videos, and I'm collabing with him soon. So yeah, I'm gonna keep on watching him. But we're watching Gotrek and Felix today for that, and then we're gonna be watching some Dylan, probably some casual. I don't know if I'm gonna do more Mini Minutemen today. I don't know. I need to make sure that I have enough videos to get through to Friday, because I'm gonna be taking off Wednesday on YouTube. Because Yura's gonna take off today, and Yura will be on here Wednesday. So that means I need to have something for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I have one more video, I believe, from the last stream, so that means I need at least 3. Hockey, now that's a spectator sport. I've never once been to a hockey game and not been massively entertained. I am a very, I'm not anymore. When I was younger, I used to really be into hockey, because there's just something about watching 2 guys beat the living crap out of each other that just gets me going. I was just like, yes, oh my god, I love watching this, especially when the goalies used to come out. I already have already delves the lands of accursed dreams and walk the plains of what? Cricket and baseball are the only sports worse than American baseball. Golf is gentrified cricket anyway. I agree that cricket and baseball are not entertaining sports. I know people like them, and I think they're probably fine to play, but I do think they're very boring to watch. American football, like I said, has the ability to be a good sport, but I agree with you. Based on the way that it is, it's not that entertaining. I don't find basketball entertaining to watch at all. Like I said, I like tennis a lot. I love watching hockey. Not for today. Not for today, Nid. You can send it to Penn for a different day. I'm not opposed to that. Just send it to Penn for another day. I'm reading through the books at the moment, so I might have to come back to this vid later to avoid spoilers. You think that I'm sure that's just a basic video, you know? Tetra, did you see the Pee Wee hockey Buell? No. I like the sports ball. Hockey is tribalism at its purest. Okay. I want you to understand something. Okay, I am. Despite what people may think about me being like 12 or something like that, I'm a very prissy person. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not even hiding that, right? So like, I literally was in Philadelphia for a hockey game years ago, and they threw batteries at us. They threw batteries at us. Okay, and my response to this was cry. Judo is so fun. Best traditional martial art? No. Best martial art is Taekwondo. Taekwondo is best martial art. If you're not gonna kick someone in the face, what are you doing? Actually, Muay Thai is probably my favorite. Judo is just an excuse to get on top of a guy and hump him. I don't want to miss another fun stream, but I think I'll risk the spoilers. I mean, I'll be done with it in about an hour. It's a 25-minute video, Rallo, and I'm gonna start it in a few minutes. So you can always come back in an hour. The atmosphere there must have been very charged. Ha ha ha! That's funny. Hopefully not car batteries. No. It was like AA batteries. Muay Thai. Tony J is my favorite martial art movie actor. Look, okay, all right. My knowledge of martial arts comes from Tekken. Okay, all right. That's not real. That's not real knowledge of martial arts, obviously. But like, being a very savvy Tekken player, all right, I just like I like certain fighting styles, all right. There's something about, I'm not even gonna attempt to say his name because I joke about what his name actually is, but the Muay Thai fighter in Tekken 8, like, is so much fun to play. I don't know. No. Hockey fans are actually insane though. Like, hockey fans are actually insane. Pittsburgh fans were some of the worst I met. I had an old man threaten to hit me. Plus, Taekwondo is like worse than karate in how it turned into silly point fighting. I don't really watch competitive martial arts. Who's your main in Tekken? Right now, it's Jun. I'm a filthy Jun main. Back when I used to play competitively, like in the tournaments, I used to play Lily with a little bit of Lars. Once saw a Muay Thai fighter condition his legs by kicking a banana tree. He made the tree fall. Oh. You gotta watch Kung Fu Hustle? Yeah. Mythic said the name, but if you deliberately say that name incorrectly, it's really fun. This is the first time watching, so can you please tell me what pronoun she, her? As we joked about yesterday, I am as much of a stereotype as humanly possible. I am a New York City lesbian who is allergic to gluten, or who can't have gluten. If I have a sword or polearm, why do I fight? Wait, if I can't have a sword or polearm, why do I fight? Okay, fair. I sound way worse than I normally do, though. I sound awful today. My main in 8 was Reyna, but Lars is my main in 6 and 7. To main Lars in 7, you deserve a commendation. Back in 6, Lars was S tier. In 7, Lars was complete gutter trash. Like, I still played him a lot too, but he was awful. He was awful. I am to this day yet to see people more hostile and vicious than European football fans. I am not going to make an opinion about soccer because of how much it will offend people. I have lots of opinions. And the funny part is that, like, the actual sport itself is fine, but I have a lot of opinions about soccer. And I am deliberately not saying the other name for it because I will keep calling it soccer. Still don't know know any New York, just know New Amsterdam. Funny. If you like martial arts and weapon play, can I recommend a scenic fights? They do scene breakdown. I wouldn't be interested in watching that personally. It's not my cup of tea. I haven't played Tekken since the second game. Really. So you haven't played Tekken in like 28 years? You haven't played Tekken in 28 years? That's wild. That's wild. Calling it soccer will piss heroes off, I know. Even though the word soccer comes from, like, what is it called? Like the Associated Football, like the Football Association or some crap, right? Like, the word soccer is a derivative that involves the word football. So it's not like the word soccer came out of nowhere. But, like, I don't really care. I'm 35. So you played Tekken 2. You played a fighting game when you were 7. And then just never played it again, Commissar? I mean, I haven't played. No, that's fine. Not playing the game ever is totally fine. Just not playing since the second one is a very obscure one, right? Like, I hear people say 3 was their last one, right? Because it changed systems after that. But 2 is just a really random one. Have you ever heard the British football chants? Not that I know of. Yeah, pretty much. We're American. We love the acronyms. As South America. Also, is Edom here? We all need to harass Edom. Edom took claim in the comment section of the New York debate. I want to tease Edom for this. So, as you guys know, when we were watching the the Dylan Hollis video last was it Friday? They devolved into a random debate about New York City not being real, and I was going through the comments and replying to some of them, and Edom was just like, my proudest work as a chatter. And it's like, oh yeah, it makes me feel good to know that I instigated this. And I'm like, Strider instigated this. What do you mean? I literally remember the comment Strider made. I literally remember the comment that Strider made that triggered this whole thing. Like, where did Edom come in? Where did Edom come in to claim this? Oh my god, it isn't real. Instigated what? It isn't real. Ogre speech 100%. It was Strider. No, it was Strider. It was Strider. That's what I was so confused by. I'm like, you're saying that in a video of people watching the chat. They can see if they can fact check you in real time. Wait, no, he didn't. We went back and looked, Mart. We went back and looked. The first comment was not. I didn't see. Edom didn't comment until way later. Come on, England, score some fucking goals. Wait, New York is real? Sounds like some anti-New Amsterdam propaganda. The hell is a New Amsterdam? It's stolen valor! Oh my god, we gotta call Edom stolen valor. How many EWGFs can you hit in a row? Huh? What do you mean? Edom has instigated the who instigated the New York isn't real debate. Yeah, Edom is stolen valoring it. Yeah, that video where the first time I saw chat break you that way. It didn't break me though. I know he sucked in 7, but Lars has always been so saucy. Oh, you meant an abbreviation for the attacks? Oh, I don't remember any of the terminology. All I remember as far as an abbreviation for the attacks is rolling death cage for like the RDC for King. Yeah, electric wind godfist. Yeah. No, I will not remember the abbreviations because when I was playing with like Lars and everything like that, it was during I played with Lily in Dark Resurrection. And then I played, which was when I was playing at my best. And then I played Lars in 6, yeah. It was fun. Mind games and mind games. Like even now, I do not remember the terminology. Like I still play at a decent level, but like I don't remember the terminology. Like, you know, I remember like the basic things like wave dashing, right? But like specific things. Also, my last Tekken game was 4, where Heihachi fought you into Fundoshi. See, my problem is right now I have not so I am I'm actually a partner with them as well. So like I'm a Bandai Namco partner, but I haven't played Tekken since Harada left. Like Harada was the GOAT, and I'm a little bit disheartened about that whole scenario. So I haven't really had the urge to play as much because I know it's a silly reason, but like it's just not the same. Let's see what else. If you ever want to learn the difference between soccer fans in the US and Europe, there's a video on YouTube. I'm not terribly interested, thank you. Nobody tell Edom the Inquisitors are looking for them. That's really funny. Hi, Money. How are you? I hope you're having a good day, Goober. Also, let me show you guys the poster, by the way, because I didn't do that yet. I have to just make sure that I'm hiding the bottom half of it. You guys don't need the bottom half of it here. Let's see. Where are you? Where are you? Okay. Oh my god, it's so big. Wait. That's what she said. Ha ha ha. Okay. Hold on. I'm just making it a little bit more reasonable size to show you on stream. All right. So here is here's the poster. You guys don't need to worry about the bottom half, but here's the poster for the Patreon. It's the first one, so I hope you guys like it. Tetra doing FOMO marketing. No, I just don't want to show it on YouTube. I managed to be most of the bosses in Dark Souls 3. Nice, congrats, Money. The orc language is based in the UK. I know that. That I know. I swear for some reason soccer in Latin America is way too serious. I bet. It's amazing that Yoshimitsu made it to Soul Calibur canon. I think that's actually really funny. But yeah. I also hear BB. Well, I hear BB now too. Yeah. Money is giving away the other. Is giving the rest of it. I can show more of it. Look at that without giving it away. Excited for Kunimitsu, Bob, and Roger. I'm excited for Roger. The reason they omitted Roger originally was from PETA too, so I'm excited. But yeah, so like that's in the picture as you can see. But yeah, I think it's really cool. Also, I will be making a video. If I have the energy today, I'm gonna make the video, the short for the figure that came because my my Lady Malice custom paint job is finished. Hashi's really only son is Kuma. He loves the bear so much. You know what? You're right. You are right. Does Yoshimitsu still have the banger OST? No, if you want the banger OST, it's the new what was the map name? It's the map with the alpacas. Hot take, Pete is a cult. There's a lot of things in today's society that are a cult, but we don't need to go into that. I love Soul Calibur. I put hundreds of hours in. I haven't played. You know what? Now I'm gonna sound like what was said earlier. I haven't played Soul Calibur since the second one. All right, we're 49 minutes in. I can start getting stuff ready. I do need to get through 3 videos at least. I do need to get through 3 videos. And we'll work from there. Like I said, I'm gonna check let me check right now. What do I have? What do I have that's done and not done? Okay, I can get rid of these. Okay, I actually have 2 videos from the previous stream that were not posted yet. I have the Thankful video and I have the Vulture video, so I'm actually okay. I'm actually okay right now. Which version? PS2 had Ayachi's. I played multiple versions of it. I'm saying Soul Calibur feels like the forgotten child at this point. Most fighting games kind of died out. Like the funny thing is, okay, I am partnered with both of the 2 major fighting games, and I really like one of them, and I really don't like the other one. Okay, so like I am partnered with both Capcom and Bandai. I'm a Tekken player. I have strong opinions about the other one. I don't think it's that fun. That's my personal take. I'm not trying to say anything bad about it. I just don't personally think it's that fun. I like 3D fights. I don't like the 2D fighting. You should react to what did blank do about the lore origins behind each company. Spoiler, most make military tech or have cults. Nah, that's okay. Not my cup of tea. I miss fighting games. My last console gen was PS2. So why don't you just play on the PC? What was it? Grand Blue Fantasy's fighting game is quite good. Grand Blue Fantasy was quite good. W take, honestly. I'm gonna miss speaking in Rat Squeak for the Skaven videos. Yes. A fair take, which we will respect and not judge. Have you seen Casual's 12-minute of highly questionable artifacts? Maybe. Also, I do have to tell you guys, don't send video suggestions to my business email. Like, they don't get opened. Like, I just want you to know that, like, several people have taken it upon themselves to think that that's the right way to send video suggestions other than through the comment section or through, like, the Discord. Don't go to my business email and send video requests, because like I don't open them. I don't even look at them. They go into spam. Yeah, there were several. There were several. I just showed you the one that I thought was the funniest. As Don the SNK man, I'm chilling. For Granblue, I'll happily play my boy Soras. Who does? No, don't. Let's not be judgmental. They were innocent. They wanted to suggest videos. They just did it in a weird way. If you do another Mini Minutemen video, do his debunking series. It's great. I did his debunking. It went up this morning. It's performing like shit. What's the logic behind, you know what, I'm not even gonna ask. Kind of adorable, honestly. I get that. All right, let's go into the Gotrek and Felix video. I want to start churning this stuff out. Okay. This should be fine, like right here. All right. Let's see. All right. Where is it? Where the hell is it? There we go. The Philip Zappa one. Like I said, I will try if videos continue to do okay. Usually if certain content doesn't work, I do try to shift away from it. I enjoyed it personally, but if it does, if viewership is not interested in it, then you know that's gonna obviously, it's obviously gonna be a thing with it. Okay, let me turn off the music. All right, let's get started. We're gonna be watching the Gotrek and Felix video from Pancreas. It's called Gotrek and Felix, Warhammer's Greatest Heroes and the Biggest Nobodies. I'm really excited because like I'm still super new into fantasy overall. And most of what I've learned is about Skaven, but they keep on coming up in all the other videos, so I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited.
You know, usually in a story where the hero or heroes are down on their luck, it usually means something like in The Empire Strikes Back. The good guys have been hurt and the bad guys are winning for sure, but there's a clear message of hope for the future in some way. Whether it be a prophecy about the good guys unfolding, new allies being found, or any other number of things, something is going to go well for them in the near future. Things aren't looking good for the heroes, but things are definitely going to get better. What the heroes being down on their luck usually doesn't mean is them being forced to take on a job as bouncers in a shitty tavern in the poorest quarter of an industrializing city in between saving the world. But Gotrek and Felix aren't most heroes, and yet despite all that, I think they're the most enjoyable Warhammer characters to read about. I couldn't care less about the Emperor of Mankind, maybe or maybe not, considering his sons to be nothing more than tools, but you can be damn sure I want to read about Gotrek and Felix murdering their 50th monster that week before Gotrek drinks himself to a coma and Felix finds the 50th woman that week to fall in love with. Anyways, we'll get to all that. So what's this video going to be about? Well, Gotrek and Felix, of course. But instead of going through their entire series, because that would take about 10 hours, I'm going to talk more about who they are and what you can expect out of them. Now, of course, there'll be spoilers, I'll just be honest with you, but I'll try and avoid anything major. For instance, I'm not going to bring up shit about any major motivation some characters might have, unless it's like Felix, where you find out their motivation about 5 seconds into the book. For example, why is Gotrek a Slayer? Well, read the goddamn series and you'll find out. But I'm still going to talk about things that happen in the series. I mean, it's unavoidable. And I'll try to avoid anything about major character deaths, but, well, if nothing else, go and see what Gotrek's series is called in Age of Sigmar. You see what's missing? Yeah, I know. Yeah, it hurts, I know. And as one final note, I read 90% of these books back to back in the span of about 4 months because I bought them in those omnibuses where you get 3 main books and a few short stories. So if I say something happened in X story when it really happened in Y story, please forgive me, and I'll just kind of exist in this giant mush labeled Gotrek, Felix, and Snorri in my brain, but we'll get to him later as well. Anyways, let's start with the dwarf, the myth, the legend himself, Gotrek Garnison. Might as well start with his job. Gotrek is a slayer. A slayer in Warhammer Fantasy is a dwarf who done goofed real bad and now has to die in glorious battle to redeem himself.
Oh, I remember. Okay. I was like trying to think, like, what is a Slayer? I remember that whole thing, right? Like when we were watching the every Warhammer faction explained, and there was that group of dwarves that that has to die, right? Like it's the only decision, right? So I'm guessing he just can't.
Takes the Slayer oath for something truly dishonorable, like neglecting your military duties leading to the downfall of a whole lot of dwarfs. Other times, it's because Olaf Alebeard lost a month's income of gold coins gambling, and the only option left to him is clearly suicide by monster. To avoid spoilers, I'm not going to tell you why Gotrek took the Slayer oath, but either way, he done goofed and is now a Slayer. There's a big problem here, though. Gotrek's kind of the worst Slayer alive, because he sucks at dying. Every time he gets in a fight with something, it gets brutally murdered. Humans, dark elves, beastmen, greater demons, doesn't matter.
Oh my god, he got a miniature! Look at his little miniature! That looks so cool! He looks so... It actually looks great compared to that thing. Also, speaking of miniatures, I'm so tempted in my short to have my my Lady Malice like stand next to my Imperial Knight. just because of how outlandish the size difference would be.
If you try to fight Gotrek one-on-one, you're gonna die a messy death. Hell, outnumbering him just means more of you are gonna die. In the last Gotrek and Felix book, just called Slayer, Felix refers to Gotrek taking on a Chaos Lord and his warband as nature taking its course. Gotrek naturally hates this. He's not actively suicidal, at least no more than anyone else who's actively seeking out death in combat, but the series takes place over the course of roughly 20 years, and Gotrek was a Slayer for longer than that. That's several decades of just not being able to die despite all aspects of your culture and religion saying, time to die now, champ. This is both because of a magical X keeping him alive and giving him strength, which every time someone observes it, they say it courses with divine energy, so you can't say I'm spoiling that because it's brought up every 5 goddamn minutes, and because either way, he's just that much of a stubborn bastard. It drives him to take on more and more dangerous quests, which is oftentimes the driving force behind the plot of the Gotrek and Felix books. But despite his despair at being alive, he's got a good heart deep down, so he always goes on another adventure to help and maybe finally get himself killed. Though keep in mind, when I say Gotrek's a good person deep down, I mean deep down. Usually when a character is called a jerk with a heart of gold or something like that, they're like a Marvel movie character where they're basically a saint, but they say sarcastic things every now and then. If Felix isn't holding him back, Gotrek will happily kill a man just for spilling his beer, and
So like on the wonderful world of power scaling for Warhammer, where does Gotrek fall? Is he stronger than a Primarch? I know that obviously fantasy and 40k different, but like where does he line? Where does he like match up?
one occasion almost murdered a ship full of high elves because one of them refused to step aside when Gotrek had to use the bathroom. He does have a soft spot for kids though, and usually won't abandon a horde of refugees to their fate at least. So yeah, very deep down he's a good person. Like Minds of Moria deep, but
Minds of Moria
Until
deep.
the AOS books, we rarely get the full extent of Gotrek's thoughts, and I haven't gotten to reading those yet because I'm still reading the last of the fantasy series at a rate of 1 page per month because I don't want to run out of Gotrek and Felix, but I digress. Much of the time, Gotrek appears to be nothing more than a brutal killing machine who enjoys battle for its own sake as much as it offers a chance at redemption. When the books get combat heavy, it's almost like he stops being a character in his own right and more like a force of nature. And indeed, there will be times in the series where Felix has to plan around Gotrek's bloodlust as the main obstacle in his path. He's not an idiot though, don't get me wrong. In fact, there's a very good scene where he uses a trap and ambushes to take down a whole lot of enemies in one of the short stories. And when another Slayer questions why he doesn't just jump in their head first, he says that Grimdark expects them to die doing their very best, so why wouldn't he use his head every now and then? Even with all of that though, because the fact we see the series
Gotrek can kill minor. Does he do that? Does he kill minor gods?
through Felix's eyes, we see just how confusing and alien Gotrek can be to a human. In fact, the Gotrek and Felix novels in general are really great at hammering home that in Warhammer, the dwarfs truly do have a culture that's almost alien to humanity. Gotrek usually being the prime example of this, but there are plenty of other dwarfs that feature in the series. They're not just shorter and greedier people that eat rocks for nourishment, things they consider to be normal are absolutely insane to humans and vice versa. Due to that, much of the time you might think, wow, Gotrek sure is a shitbag, why is he doing that? And you know what? He is a shitbag, because every now and then you'll get even other dwarves telling them he needs to cool it with the attitude. But every now and then, he'll do something that makes you realize that he still has things he wants in life other than death by big scary thing. That he does in fact care about a very, very small selection of people in the world. Chief among that number being, of course, his co-star Felix Jaeger, or Harry Jaeger as you'll often hear him referred to as. Especially if you play Total War where he screams his name out every time you click on him. Felix is the son of a burgeoning Empire merchantman who runs a very successful business doing something. I'm pretty sure in the end times they were shipping lumber around. Realistically though, I'm pretty sure his father would sell orphan slaves if he thought it would turn a profit. Either way, Felix and his brother were supposed to take over the family business so the Jaeger family could finally become the nobles they deserved to be. Then Felix decided that he wanted to be a poet, which pissed his family off, went to college to do just that, and accidentally killed someone in a duel over whether or not violent protest was an acceptable form of protest. What a suddenly relevant backstory, I gotta say. As I'm writing this, I'm realizing that the comment section is gonna look like a goddamn 4chan thread.
Oh god.
Anyways, to move on as quickly as I can, he was expelled for, murdering someone, accident or not, and then was a key figure in something called the Window Tax Riots. A very Revolutionary War-y kind of backstory. I like it. During these riots, Felix was almost run down by 6 of the Reichsguard, Karl Franz's finest, whereupon Gotrek saved him by murdering 6 of the Reichsguard, Karl Franz's finest. You'll find that's a running theme whenever Felix is really in danger, because like I said earlier, anything that gets close to Gotrek dies a horrible, horrible death. They both got blackout drunk, Felix to drown out the trauma, and Gotrek because why not? Felix swore an oath to be Gotrek's rememberer and record his death for posterity because Gotrek has a very subtle but noticeable ego, and the moment he
So wait, so I'm guessing, remember, he's like chronicling the journey of Gotrek. Is that how that works? Like he chronicles it until he passes, then so they could tell the story of Gotrek. I'm assuming.
Woke up with his hangover, he realized that dwarfs take their oaths very seriously, and he was now Gotrek's whipping bitch. It was actually pretty funny early on, because at first he thought about casually telling Gotrek he wasn't going to stick with them for all this. Then some tragic things happened to Felix and some others, and he also saw how Gotrek was a living tornado of knife crime and thought better of it. Now, since Felix is the one whose point of view we most often get, and Gotrek is his much more competent companion, it might be easy to say that Gotrek is the Jurgen to Felix's Caiaphas Cain, which I guess isn't the worst way to get a 40k fan to read these novels, but I don't think it's entirely correct either. Their characters are very different, and to be honest, the only things that they really have in common are that there's two of them, and one of them is a little bit more competent in a fight than the other. Unlike Cain, Felix ultimately has no real reason to keep being heroic. In fact, there's a few times where he has a chance to get away from Gotrek and leave his oath behind, and he chooses not to for one reason or the other. Sure, each of them sometimes get in a situation where fighting now is the best chance to not die later, but in Felix's case, there's just as many times where he chooses to fight of his own volition. Also, unlike Cain, Felix doesn't really have a reputation to worry about. There's no case where he'll lose the respect of those under him if he doesn't actively fight. Oftentimes he chooses to fight alongside Gotrek for no other reason than he thinks it's the right thing to do, and on occasions there's a few times where he's just as ready to kill as Gotrek is. He's also not a coward. At first reading the series you might think I'm crazy for saying that, but hear me out. Initially, Felix is just some college kid in over his head. He learned fencing at school, but that's all he has for combat experience. So even fighting against a single goblin at first is a worrying thing because it's real life or death combat. He's not instantly a video game protagonist. He has to learn his skills and adapt, which makes the books honestly so much better to read. You can see him transition from someone who barely knows.
Well, also, in this video, right? Like we're learning about how he's chronicling for Gotrek, and Gotrek is a slayer. But that means if he's a slayer, he's not really a part. I'm assuming slayers are not a part of dwarven society anymore, right? Like it's kind of like excommunication until they do something in glorious honor and die in battle. Because I was gonna say, it's not like he can go in the great big book of grudges if Felix leaves. Right? Like, it's not like he can go in the Book of Grudges.
What he's doing to being Zoro from One Piece. Feels very relatable. You know what, Felix? I too would be shitting my pants profusely at this moment, only in my case, it would probably be literal. The other reason he sometimes comes across as weak is that Gotrek is incredibly overpowered, and the enemies he fights are a few leagues beyond anyone who isn't Gotrek. Have you ever played a D&D campaign where one person was incredibly overpowered, so the DM had to throw increasingly strong enemies at the party to create a meaningful sense of threat, but that also meant that everyone who wasn't the overpowered asshole was just getting their shit rocked? That's what the daily life of Felix Jaeger is like. Tangent incoming, but I would also like to give you a piece of knowledge about that kind of player. If they bring up how their character isn't really that overpowered before anyone even says anything remotely about that topic, they're an asshole. Because they're thinking about how people are going to say they're overpowered, which means they're very aware of the fact they're overpowered and going to ruin it for other people. And if you have found yourself doing that exact thing, I'd just like to say, fuck you. You're the reason everyone else is looking at their phone during a party fight. I know some of you are listening to me right now who've done that. You know who you are. At least one of the friends I've played with who's certainly listening to this at some point admits he makes overpowered builds, which at least he admits it. When you admit something like that, it takes away 90% of the anger. Unlike our other friend who makes overpowered builds of OP classes he found on the homebrew D&D website and then claims that 3 4d10 dice plus 8 worth of damage attacks a turn with a 12 plus to hit modifier isn't broken because he has a charisma stat of 9 to balance out all the other ones.
Okay, alright. I have to say, this I feel on a personal level, not for Warhammer, because I don't play, I just collect the figures, which again, I know I'll probably get flack for that in its own way. But I feel this in TFT. So when I play TFT, I literally just kind of figure out what works during the seasons and I enjoy it. But like, I know when I go into ranked matches and I play people and I see the same match like every time, like with the person in first place, I'm like, you literally went and looked at the meta. You literally went and just became a meta slave, and you're just like, all right, I'm gonna build this exact same thing. It's so disheartening that I see the same builds every time in like the top 3 slots, and it tilts me off the face of the earth because I try building really quirky things. Don't get me wrong, I've been doing Zon a lot, but like I try building little quirky things that people haven't seen, and it's like it does not matter. It's like it's all meta this, meta that, but they never met a girl before. I know. All right, let's just go back.
being 17 or higher. But I'm wildly digressing by this point, so let's get back to the angry dwarf and Warhammer Fantasy's most unlucky man. Back to comparing him to Cain, Felix is also much more honest. Caiaphas Cain plays down his achievements, both because he thinks he's just a coward, and because he knows that's what the sort of character he pretends to be would do. Felix, meanwhile, actually is that sort of modest hero. He genuinely doesn't think he's doing all that much special, and even says the classic, "I'm just doing what anyone would do in my position" line. One time he briefly wields a hammer that, due to magic, only a dwarfish hero should be able to wield, and he tosses it like Thor at a bloodthirster and cold clocks him with it. It's what allows Gotrek to kill that bloodthirster, because otherwise the demon was going to kill him and end the book series about a dozen early. And at the end of the book, all he learned from the experience was that his hand hurts from holding the lightning hammer, and for some reason the dwarfs are all looking at him like some sort of mythical figure, which just makes him vaguely uncomfortable. And every now and then we get a point of view of someone facing them, and usually goes something along.
Do you plan on watching the Warhammer Fantasy Adeptus Ridiculous episodes? Probably. Probably. There's a lot. There's a lot to watch when it comes to Warhammer. I still have to watch the Ferrus Manus video, the Horus video, and the Magnus video before I do anything else when it comes to Adeptus. Those three need to be watched, so I watched all the Primarchs, and then from there we'll figure it out. I've kind of just been enjoying my little fantasy side quest right now. It's like a little refresher. So when I go back to 40K, it's gonna be like nice, more like new stuff and interesting again. Because like I was drowning myself in 40K every day, and that's not bad. Like I'm enjoying 40K still a lot, but like it was just nice to try out fantasy for a little bit.
The lines of, "Holy crap, this dwarf is a monster, screw that, I'm gonna go fight this scrawny blonde next to him," and "Oh hey, what's this sword poking out of my chest doing there?" It's like Gotrek is Goku and Felix is Krillin. Everyone always forgets that Krillin could blow up a planet too if he felt like it when standing next to Goku, but imagine trying to mug Krillin on the street. Say goodbye to your kneecaps, chucklehead. And honestly, Gotrek and Felix complement each other as characters a lot more than Caiaphas and Jurgen do. Jurgen, as badass as he is, don't get me wrong, is almost just a plot device. Cain will be in trouble from Tyranids, but thankfully because Jurgen is both a blank and the man with the foulest body odor in the galaxy, the hive mind was disrupted long enough for Cain to pull it a win. He enables Cain to do his thing, and that's kind of it. Meanwhile, Gotrek and Felix both do things on their own. There's times they're separated from one another, and it actually feels like both of them are missing something vital, rather than, oh, Felix doesn't have Gotrek around, how will he handle not having his get out of jail free card? Despite this, they're each completely valid characters in their own rights, who could do well with their own series, and indeed Gotrek now has. Though of course they still work best when they're together. Together they wander the old world looking for things to kill Gotrek, and also the rest of the world, because they've ended up pretty much everywhere. They fought alongside and against Tomb Kings, they fought plenty of orcs, they fought ogres in the Mountains of Morn.
You know, I'm just thinking about the irony of the fact that Gotrek literally is a slayer trying to die, and the fact that he survives the end times. Like there's a level of beautiful irony in that.
Hell, they helped fight a revolution in Araby, which I'm pretty sure accounts for like 80% of all Araby lore. Wherever they go, you can be assured of three things. Gotrek is going to fail to die, and it said kill whatever he hoped would do.
Strider's here. Strider, I need you to know something. Okay, so we were talking about this before, but Strider is now here. Strider instigated the "Is New York real" debate in chat yesterday, or not yesterday, but Friday. Not Friday. Yeah, Friday. I need you to know that there has been a case of stolen valor. Edom has been taking credit for instigating that debate in the comment section of that video. I'm just letting you know there is stolen valor. All right.
Felix is going to fall in love with a woman to some extent, and whatever amount of money the two make is going to disappear by the next book. Turns out it's a good thing Felix never joined the family business, because he would have killed it before anything managed to get to Gotrek. At one point, they were involved with one of Nagash's magical artifacts, which scared the ever-loving shit out of the wizard investigating it when he realized just what he was holding. They fought Kemler and Krell, they fought a dragon ogre. Really, if there's more than one of something in the Warhammer world, Gotrek and Felix have almost certainly fought and killed one of them. They even had an adventure with Teclis once. Yes, that Teclis. And he was afraid of Gotrek. For reference, Teclis can nuke entire armies at once if he's so inclined, and this angry midget scared him. The only reason Gotrek didn't brain him was because Felix needed assistance only Teclis could provide at the time. Imagine how the end times would have turned out if that happened. Probably for the better, honestly. It's also really funny how
if you want to join the Discord, the mods have to just put the command up. Chat, one of the moderators, please put the Discord command up for chat, and just follow the rules when you join in. We have it this way so that way we don't get like flooded with bots.
On the epilogue of the book, Teclis wakes up alone and finds out that Gotrek left him and drags Felix along with him. And he wakes up alone in a ruin that's surrounded by orcs and chaos followers and is just like, thanks guys, really appreciate that one. Funnily enough though, despite the fact they keep wandering into situations that would make them heroes in any other story, for one reason or other, they never go beyond the realm of first level D&D characters in terms of their living conditions and state.
I'm sorry, I have to pause because I have to read Strider's comment. Edom is my bro. My valor is his valor. It is our brodom. It's like we're docking.
One reason is that there's still technically wanted criminals in the Empire. I mean, Felix started a massive tax riot and Gotrek murdered 6 of the Emperor's personal guard. They're not exactly welcome back in Altdorf, and until the end times, Felix never really shakes the fear that someone's going to recognize them. So if only for that reason, they often lay low when they're in the Empire. Another reason is that Gotrek, being a slayer, doesn't really give a Skaven's ass about accumulating wealth and building a life for himself.
Also, how long of a period were the end times? Like how long like how many books were through that? Because like the way that he phrases it makes it sound like it's a long window.
Trying to end his own after all, so when all is said and done, he sits down for a single heroic feast to enjoy some food and ale, and then says, "Alright, manling, time to wander around the Empire some more and hope we trip over another beastman herd." The inciting instances of all this stuff are pretty different enough that they're not just copy and paste between books, but there's 2 common themes. One,
the fact that you know what that means says a lot. Honey, I grew up in the era of Urban Dictionary. I know a lot of these ones, all right? Go look up Charizarding or the Tony Danza. Go look up munging. You know, I believe me, I know a lot of the horrendous terms. If you want something worse than docking, go find space docking.
One is that someone wants them to do something, Gotrek says no, and Felix says that surely wherever they'd be going would have a mighty doom waiting for him, so they end up going. The other is that someone promises Gotrek a mighty doom if they do something, and Felix gets roped into it because of his oath. And then they go have some crazy adventures, usually meeting some genuinely interesting side characters who... they're side characters in a Warhammer novel. Let's just say they have a limited shelf life. Despite the series being called Gotrek and Felix, Felix is certainly more the main character than Gotrek. It's almost always in his point of view, in third person granted, but still, so we see all these events happening through his eyes. Over the course of the series, you can see how they develop as comrade-at-arms, and sometimes, if you squint, you can almost call them friends. And you also see Felix get the shit kicked out of him. Like, a lot. But beyond the 2 main ones, there's 4 more characters I'd really like to cover, because I love all of them. I'm gonna go in ascending order of how much I like the characters, but really they're all a great addition to the series. First off is Ulrika Magdova Stragov, who bears the honor of having the single most Slavic name in all of Warhammer outside of the Vestroyan Firstborn characters. She even has her own trilogy of books, a trilogy I highly recommend you don't Google search if you don't want massive spoilers for Gotrek and Felix. In fact, just don't look her up until you get about halfway through all of the Gotrek and Felix books. Pretend she doesn't exist, except for right now because I need my average watch time to stay up. I also couldn't find any artwork of her that wasn't either a massive spoiler or a softcore porn, so I hope you enjoy this old model she got a while ago, because that's all you're going to be seeing for the next minute. Anyways, Ulrika is the daughter of a Kislavite minor noble. She's good at horse riding, swordsmanship, or I guess swordswomanship, and is one of the women of the series Felix fell hardest for. She's also one of the women of the series Felix was hardest for. She's on and off between being a main and a side character, and I will say no more to avoid spoiling. Sometimes she disappears, which, fair enough, she wants to be her own protagonist too. She deserves it, I say. Sometimes she's a bit of a bitch, other times she's a wonder to have on the page and adds some character that no one else does to the series. At the very least, she's a nice distraction from his usual company of suicidal dwarfs. Good character. Felix is down bad for her. That's all I gotta say on her. Needs more Rule 34. Next up is Max Schreiber, a light wizard who, alongside Gotrek, is the other character who makes regular appearances that's overpowered as balls.
Wait.
At one point...
Isn't this the guy who is like the foil to Thanquil in one of the cities in the Thanquil video? I feel like he sounds familiar.
He says, "I am neither Teclis nor Nagash," and he's right. He's still overpowered as hell, though. Apparently light magicians can heal you. Did you know that? Because Max can cure your Black Death right up. Even if it's caused by having tiny demons in your body. Doesn't matter, he'll fix it right up. He can also blast several dozen enemies at once with magical light, send his consciousness away from his body like he's no clipping out of it, and make protective wards that completely immunize people to chaos until their battery runs out. So yeah, he's a pretty strong wizard. He's also introduced around the same time as Ulrika, and he and Felix spend the next couple of books in a dick measuring contest over who gets to be with her. It kinda wavers back and forth between who's winning the battle for the Ulrikussy. As a side
Max Schreiber is my first fictional crush. I love that for you.
note, my father is reading Gotrek and Felix because I lent him the first book, and I'm incredibly excited for when he stumbles across this video and hears his son say the word Ulrikussy. That aside, Max is incredibly wise and smart, and a smartass, but not in the usual Marvel way where he's a quip or comment every other sentence. Every now and then he'll just say something dry and vaguely mocking that usually starts another measuring contest with Felix before a chaos invasion interrupts them. Max is His role in the story is oftentimes to justify how the gang can cut through an entire horde of enemies, but also not just one-shot the main bad guy. He takes care of the minions, but it tires him out because magic and Warhammer is like handling unstable nuclear material, so Gotrek and Felix swoop in at the end to save the day. Again though, he's still a badass, make no mistake. He's like the tier of mage right below Teclis and Nagash, which still means that if he was in Total Warhammer, he'd be a legendary lord or hero. Almost nothing can stand up to him, and it's really fun to read the interactions between him and Felix as they waver back and forth between good friends and two parts of a love triangle. Next up is the second to the last one I'd like to mention, Malachi Mackayson. He's a dwarf slayer, which is a running theme with the recurring dwarf characters you might notice. Unlike most other slayers though, he tries to fulfill his death oath by creating the most outlandish inventions possible and taking them to battle. What sort of inventions, Pancreas? I'm glad you asked, viewer. He made a repeating crossbow. I believe he invented parachutes, so that's pretty helpful for gyrocopter pilots. Might not sound like the most interesting invention, that last one, but if you try and test a parachute and it doesn't work, you're gonna meet doom pretty damn quickly. Oh, and he built the Hindenburg, and then covered it in armored plating. The one in the books apparently isn't even the first one he built, but he called the previous one something like the Unbreakable or whatever, so I don't think I even need to elaborate on what happened to that one. He's incredibly cheerful, not only for a dwarf, but especially a slayer, and he's a mad genius. I wouldn't say that he's super funny, but it's just so exciting to read when he's on the page. He makes everything just seem like a high fantasy adventure novel, which is a nice breath of fresh air before it goes back to being Warhammer and all grimdark and depressing again. At one point he gets blasted by magic and just stands there and takes it like the Senator Armstrong meme. He even says something along the lines of, "Your magic can't hurt a dwarf," which is somewhat close to both Nanomachine's Son and You Can't Hurt Me, Jack, so now I'm going to accuse Metal Gear Rising of ripping off Warhammer Fantasy. On a final note about him, I highly recommend having your phone nearby when you're reading books that he features in, because they gave him a Scottish accent, and it is goddamn illegible. Now, I don't think a Scottish accent is actually that hard to understand verbally. I mean, I understand it, but reading that shit? Yeah, good luck, bud. He's the first character in a book I've ever had to stop reading because I had to look up what in the hell anything he was saying meant, and I wouldn't have him any other way. Rock on, Mackayson. Here's to seeing you as a legendary lord in immortal empires. Finally, the best slayer and best dwarf ever, Snorri Nosebiter. Now, Snorri is an interesting dwarf. Initially, his role is purely comic relief with a smidgen of body horror. All slayers dye their hair red and shape it into a crest. Snorri, on the other hand, shaved his head bald and jammed 3 nails into his skull he painted red. Jesus Christ, dude. Him and Gotrek actually knew each other long before each of them became a slayer, and he's one of the few people that Gotrek counts as one of his friends, even if he won't admit it. He also refers to himself in the third person whenever he speaks, and generally talks like someone who has dropped down the path up to the mountain a few too many times. But he's so relentlessly cheerful and fun, and even in the darkest of hours he can bring a smile to everyone's face. From Felix to Ulrika and Max, and anyone else around them. As much as they might get exasperated by his sheer stupidity, it just wouldn't be the same without Snorri around. Yeah.
So question, why do they dye their hair red and give themselves mohawk? Huh? Even though you live in a place that's not really part. Oh my god. Oh, Strider. Oh my god, you're such a goober. Hold on. You're such a freaking goober. I can't with you. I actually can't with you. Let me see. Okay, wait, how do I find this? Let me go see what you wrote. I couldn't see what you wrote. Back to work, talk to y'all. You're such a goober. You're such a freaking goober. I can't. The mohawk, I think, is because like their first slayer, the first slayer ever had one. That's so silly. That's such a silly reason. I mean, it's fine, but it's such a silly reason. Even though you live in a place that's not really part of my state, I'll still look at you and Yura and Vivi as somewhat of my home. Aw, you're so sweet, Strider. You're so sweet, you little goober. You little freaking goober. I can't with this potato. Oh my god. That is so funny. That is so funny. All right. Let me go back.
He also hits like a bus. If Gotrek is Goku, then Snorri is Vegeta. He's never really allowed to win the final big battle, but a lot of the time he looks even cooler than Gotrek and will still be instrumental in victory. When he's not fighting, him and Gotrek like to get...
Alright, hottest question I could ask you guys, because even though not all of you guys are interested in this, and even I'm not the biggest fan myself, I want to know, and this will probably be something that the comment section enjoys, who is actually better? Is it Goku or Vegeta? Who is a better character? I feel like people who, in their adulthood, still like Dragon Ball Z, all gravitate towards Goku for some reason. They all stick with good old Goku. I still think Vegeta was cooler. I think Vegeta was cooler. But, you know, what can I say?
a headbutting contest. This is where they get really drunk and headbutt each other until someone passes out. That's probably a good indication of his main role in these books. He brings some comedy to the stories while still being badass enough to keep up with the two leads. His second main role is to make you incredibly depressed whenever we get any amount of time in Snorri's point of view. I mean, it makes his character a lot better for it than if he was just happy, strong idiot, but the first time I was reading a book from Snorri's point of view, my exact reactions were, ah, hell yeah, it's about Snorri now, followed by, I'm gonna go lie down and blankly stare at the ceiling for a few hours now in the span of about 5 seconds. And I really want to talk about the second to last book in the series because it's got a really good moment between Gotrek and Snorri, but I don't want to spoil it. I also don't want to spend the rest of this video weeping into my microphone, so let's move on past this now, please. Snorri's either going to bring a smile to your face and get a laugh out of you when he shows up, or crush your hearts into tiny pieces. There's no in between. Best dwarf, best slayer, someone please give him a model, put him in Total Warhammer, please for the love of God give me more Snorri Nosebiter, something needs to fill that hole in my heart. And even beyond what you can call the main...
Ain't no way you have neither. It's Frieza. Frieza is not the coolest DBZ character. Hercule is way cooler, all right? Let's be real. Hercule is the real hero.
Cast, there's a ton of really cool side characters that are only in one book each. For example, in Elf Slayer, there's this high elf who has this really defining character moment that, without spoiling because it'll ruin the story, even the most diehard elf hater would salute him for what he's doing. And I'm not just saying that as an elf simp, trust me, what this elf does is goddamn heroic. So instead, let's just share a couple of cool stories about what Gotrek and Felix have done, and wait. I forgot about Thanquol. Thanquol is a Skaven Grey Seer who can best be described as living proof that you can fail upwards. He's gonna get his own video, both because I can give him a mini do or don't like Nagash, and because he's just so fun to talk about. Put simply, he's the Skaveniest Skaven who ever Skavened, and he features fairly frequently in the early Gotrek and Felix books. On the one...
Edom, I know, Edom is here, but like, we've already been given the new established lore that he's docking with, that Edom is docking with Strider. So it's like, what can we even do? What can we even do? There's no argument to even be had anymore. Can't, you know. All right, anyway, back on.
On one hand, he's a hell of a mage who snorts warpstone on the regular to boost his strength. On the other hand, he's a goddamn moron who sabotages his own plans because he thinks it'll give him more power over the other Skaven. Case in point, there's 3 books in the series about the Skaven trying to take over Nuln. At least I think it's 3, but I read them over the course of like 3 weeks, so it could be 2 or 4, but I think it's 3. And while Thanquol is working with the other Skaven characters in that book, he writes Gotrek and Felix letters pretending to be a human informant about the Skaven.
Yeah, the Thanquol
if you ever have a
stuff
chance,
with
please just read them online. You can find at least one of them on TV Tropes if you just
right, I remember they were saying that the writing was so obviously Skaven, but they didn't care because it actually did lead to things going well, so they just kept on listening to the letters that Thanquol was sending them. You missed some stuff? Oh, Edom, I was talking to chat about how you have stolen valor. And how you were claiming in the comment section for creating the debate about New York being real or not, and I'm like, what is Edom smoking? They did not instigate that at all, and Strider said it's okay. Edom is my bro. My valor is their valor. It's like we're docking. On that note, we'll go back to the video.
Search up Thanquol's letters to Gotrek and Felix. They, of course, immediately figure out that it's clearly a Skaven doing this and are a little bit concerned why one of them is helping, but they figure, fuck it, and help Thanquol ruin the plans of Thanquol's allies. Which will supposedly help Thanquol become more powerful, but in practice he just keeps weakening his own forces. What a silly guy. He shows up more often, and every single time he does, the books get even better, and about 10 times as funny as they were before. Okay, now I'm going to tell you some anecdotes about Gotrek and Felix. Be warned, this will be the heaviest bit on the spoilers, because I'm just going to be talking about the stories. So if you still want to be spoiler free, then skip to the next part of the video. Aren't chapters a great feature? Anyways, how about the Tomb Queen that was relentlessly thirsty for Felix?
Oh.
You heard me. Gotrek and Felix end up in Lamy and fight some vampires as part of the greater story. The B plot is the vampire's point of view and what she's doing, but it also feels kind of like the C plot of the book is how badly this mummy woman wants Felix's meat. I'm not kidding, there are so many times where she makes some comment along the lines of, if I still had skin, you would be my husband or some shit. She's also such a badass on her own that Gotrek outright says if she wasn't undead, he'd marry the 2 of them and Felix would have no input on the matter. That's high praise from any belief about the undead, let alone the fact that Gotrek dislikes damn near everyone whose name name isn't Snorri or Felix. Tragically, there's no shipping it because she is again a mummy, but goddamn do I get it. And while I'm leaving you all to figure out if I understand Gotrek's view on the matter of the Tomb Queens, how about the time Gotrek and Felix met their body doubles? They went to this dwarf hold that was basically auctioning off their hold's treasure in exchange for help retaking it. Since at the time of the novel, what they actually controlled of the hold was basically the outside door and a tavern they built around it to attract customers. Very undwarf-like, would certainly get an entry in the book, and Gotrek makes sure to call everyone involved a massive pussy. But there's violence to be had, so Gotrek still goes in, and they meet who else but another dwarf slayer with a rememberer to immortalize his own death. Felix and the other human commiserate over their suicidal companions, and Gotrek is slightly nicer to the slayer because they're pretty much the only group of people on the planet the bastard can relate to. Then they keep suspiciously wandering into death traps over and over and over until they find out that, wait a minute, the other dwarf's rememberer was trying to get his slayer killed to be free of his own oath. Gotrek and Felix were both unfortunate enough to be in the way, and some asshole mercenary was going to pay the rememberer big time to kill him. Considering that it's a short story and not a proper book this takes place in, you can probably guess how this ends up for everyone involved that isn't Gotrek or Felix. And for one last story, and this is a big one, how about how Gotrek ended up in the mortal realms? Now this is incredibly spoiler heavy because it's all about the last Gotrek and Felix book, which again I have not finished, but my eternal hatred towards myself means I looked it up like a goddamn clown because I couldn't help myself at first, and now I'm forcing it onto all of you as a way of consoling myself. If nothing else, we both know we made it into Age of Sigmar, so there's only so much in the way of true spoilers to be had, I guess. Anyways though, Gotrek and Felix found out that, surprise, the dwarf god Grimnir was grooming Gotrek. No, not like a Discord mod, but to become Grimnir 2.0. And then also, by the way, they need to stop Be'lakor from ascending
He's grooming him to be a Discord mod. He wants Gotrek to be his kitten. I can't.
Godhood if they could, please and thank you. Oh, and also there's one greater demon of each Chaos God present, including a bloodthirster that has some personal history with the two. If you remember way back to the start of this rambling video, it's the one Felix threw knockoff Mjolnir at. He remembers that inconvenience they caused him, and he's ready to take revenge. Unfortunately for the demons, Gotrek is able to stop Be'lakor with help from Felix. He does this by slapping the shit out of Be'lakor with the bloodthirster. God, so cool. And then he takes Grimnir's place in holding back the tides of the warp, which, because it's the end times, is naturally changed to getting lost in the warp while chaos overtakes the world anyways.
Whoa, okay, so if that happens at the end times, does that mean that he actually is a dwarven god in Sigmar? Did I severely misunderstand that, or is he now a dwarven god in Sigmar? Meow, yeah, he's Discord kitten. He's Discord kitten Gotrek. Look, it's okay. Gotrek just goes meow meow. He's the dwarven meow meow. I love that little profile picture with the cat. Oh wait, I have that. Never mind. He is the dwarf god in Sigmar. Okay, so he is. Very cool. There's more to it. Keep watching, woman. I am having discussion with my chat. I will not be contained. The point of this is that I get to have conversation during these watches. In Age of Sigmar, kind of really. He takes the place, kind of become a god. He explains, all right, fine. God!
Of course, how did Gotrek survive all of this? Even the gods of the old world died, how did he survive? Have you been missing everything I've said so far? He's Gotrek freaking Garnison. You can't kill Gotrek, so Gotrek started killing demons. And more demons. And then, more demons. He killed demons for so long that eventually he stumbled his way into Age of Sigmar. But you know what the thing about that is? At a certain point, he stopped fighting demons because they just kept leaving him alone. He says they were probably bored of fighting him. Realistically, the Chaos Gods were shitting their pants at the man with the demon-killing axe wandering around their house, murdering people. And thus do we get to the end of Gotrek and Felix. For now, anyways. Gotrek figured out that a lot of the Stormcast Eternals in the Mortal Realms were once heroes from the old world, after all. And even if Felix isn't one of them, he's not resting until he finds his best friend. And his axe. As for Gotrek's rules, I thought about doing a do or don't mini thing here, but I don't really have much to say. He's expensive as all hell and slow, but he's almost impossible to kill, and anything that enters melee range with him just isn't coming out. Kite him and fire every single ranged attack you have at him, otherwise you're just gonna lose the match. If you're playing Gotrek, just send him on into the biggest blob of enemies you can find or the biggest, scariest looking monster. Who knows, maybe you'll find the one person that plays AOS that hasn't heard of Gotrek. Then you can enjoy wiping the smug look off your opponent's face when your lone dwarf wipes out their Death Star model. And that is the end of this glorified slideshow on the legendary Gotrek Garnison and Felix Jaeger, the single best Warhammer characters ever written, aside from, of course, their friend Snorri. Tune in next time for I don't know, a video about another Warhammer Fantasy character or something. Or a phone company. Thank you, of course, to my wonderful channel members. You are like Gotrek to my Felix, letting me survive another day in the horrid world we live in. Don't think about that analogy too much. If you'd like to support the channel, consider subscribing or becoming a member. Either way, thanks for watching and take care out there.
I know better. I'm waiting.
No one joke. I'm just going to tell you all straight up. Gotcha can take on any Primarch as of AOS. Hell, towards the end times, he probably could have done it already, but as of AOS, he for sure can. Like, there's not a shred of doubt in my mind. If Horus and Gotrek walked into a room and fought to the death, the one walking out is going to be the angry dwarf complaining about how shoddy even the human demigods are.
Okay, I love that. I love that. See? That answered my question from the very beginning. That's amazing. That's so good. Man, every time. All right, I have to say that I want to learn more about Gotrek and Felix. They are fantastic. They are fantastic characters. Okay, so let me do this. Let me put on music for a moment. All right, what do we watch next? Let's go and jump into... I do want to watch the follow-up. Someone in chat mentioned it before. The Warhammer protagonists are terrifying. But I'm gonna probably save that for Friday's opening video. So if you can mark down Warhammer protagonists are terrifying, if it's not already on the list. I don't remember if it is. I just don't remember. You sacrifice things to slow him down, yeah. He's still, I guess, immortal. Some special magical upgrades he got, but for all intent and purpose, he's just immortal that can't die due to being the hardest things to kill him in Warhammer. Yeah, yeah, on it. Thank you. Warhammer protagonist video is brilliant. Yeah. I'm saving that one for the next one because I like opening up with a strong video, like a strong Warhammer video. I enjoy those. Let me go through my list and see what I'm going to do next. I do know we're going to be doing a Dylan. We're probably going to be doing a casual. I want to do another mini Minutemen, but like the last one is really not doing great. So like I'm very hesitant to be like, let's keep going with it, because that's 2 for 2 right now on that. Do you guys want to do, we could do a Max Miller. We could do a Max Miller if we want to do something totally different. Hell's Reach will end eventually. Wait a minute. Prehistoric animals that... Wait, hold on. Prehistoric animals preserved so well they look like roadkill. That is such a wild name. Oh my god. Holy moly, that's such a wild name. That's funny. Please tell me it's the Garum one. It is Feeding the Emperor Nero. It's Feeding the Emperor Nero. That is a very specific genre, right? No, look. So the Lindsay Nicole is the biggest sad story for me because she is actually one of my all-time favorite YouTube content creators. Yet whenever I do reactions to her videos, they do not work. That's the part that's so sad to me. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking then. I'm thinking we do, I think we do a, we'll try the Max Miller. After we do the Max Miller, we do the prehistoric animals preserved so well they look like roadkill. And then we'll close out on Dylan. That sound good? Okay. I love Lindsay and Milo. I mean, Milo is still possible because the first one worked well. The first one worked well, but like after that first one, it just did not. Also, hang on. I don't want this. Go here. Oh, we hit 18,000 subscribers. We hit 18,000 subscribers. Oh, wait a minute. The Mini Minutemen one is starting to get into normal. It had a slow start, but it's starting to go into normal territory. Holy crap, wait a minute. We might be able to keep going with Milo. Oh my God, we might actually still be able to keep going with Milo. It's getting there. It's getting there. It's right where it needs to be. Congrats on 18K. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that with Dylan Good Ones, you got a bit. Yeah, the Dylan Good Ones are really funny because I don't think that they're like the interactions are that crazy. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm actually really happy to see that. I'm really happy to see that. Okay. You have to go Max Miller. You'll start to find out that the eccentric is an understatement for Emperor Nero. I would assume so. I don't remember, Pen. All right, but we're gonna go and do we're gonna do the Max Miller one first, and we'll go from there. We're gonna do Max Miller first, and we'll go from there. Where is it? Max Miller, copy. Do that. Pause. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh no. I'm dying here. Hold, please. You know when a sneeze, like, just, it hits so hard that you just feel like your brain rocked in your head? Yeah. All right. Let's get this ready.
I love a good steak, and typically my favorite steak
all right. All right, well, that went into it very quickly. Hello, all right. We're gonna be watching Feeding the Emperor Nero. All right, this is the first time we are watching Max Miller. I do know that it's like a cooking history channel, right? So this is new to me. I do love the Pikachu in the background. I think we're in for something good. I've always known that Nero was a very eccentric emperor, so I'm excited to find out what we're gonna see here.
Just more butter. But in ancient Rome, if you were invited to a banquet at the Emperor Nero's palace, you might expect something a bit more complex.
Oh.
And so today we are making an ancient Roman steak sauce that is indeed more complex. So thank you to Brightland for sponsoring this video as we imagine what it might be like to feast with Nero.
Okay.
This time on Tasting History.
This is gonna make me hungry, isn't it?
So this recipe comes from a Piki.
All right, hang on. Just derailing for a second because again, this won't be in the other part of this won't be in the video that I talked about the sneeze. But I just saw I've had sneezes that vibrate my sternum from you in chat. I've had sneezes that pop my sternum. It's not a fun time. It's not a fun time.
Dere coquinaria from the 1st century and could have been served at one of Nero's feasts. And really, coquinaria.
Apicius de... Oh my God.
From the 1st century and could have been served at one of Nero's feasts. And really, it works with any roasted meat. Aliter assaturas, another sauce for meat. Grind dried pitted myrtle berries with cumin, pepper, honey, garum, defrutum, and oil.
What the fuck's
Heat
defrutum?
and thicken with starch.
The fuck is
Boil
defrutum?
meat, then roast with salt and pour the sauce over it. Sprinkle with pepper and serve. Pretty simple, and luckily it contains 2 of the 3 ingredients that were sent to me from Brightland. Brightland sent me their...
Oh, he played us good. Oh, he played us good. Oh my God. Oh, I was not prepared for the instant segue into the sponsor. Oh my God.
capsule. Now on to the recipe. For this recipe, what you'll need is 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 teaspoons of honey, 6 myrtle or juniper berries, a half teaspoon of cumin, a half teaspoon of pepper. So you can use regular black pepper for this, but you can also use long pepper, which is what I'm using. It was very popular in ancient Rome, and it has just a more aromatic, almost flowery quality to it, and it's wonderful. 1 teaspoon of garum or other fish.
Isn't garum, like, really vile? Isn't it, like, don't you have to, like, ferment, like, fish in the sun or some stuff like that? Like, I vaguely remember hearing that garum, I feel like I've seen shorts for garum before. I feel like it's really horrendous to get this stuff.
Sauce. I'm using flor de garum, which is great not only because of its flavor, but because it comes in this cute little amphora-style bottle. I'll put a link in the description. 2 teaspoons of wheat starch, or cornstarch works as well. They wouldn't have had that, but it does the same thing, and it's a lot easier to find. 3/4 of a cup, or 175 milliliters de frutum.
Yeah, what is that?
So de frutum is a 1/3 reduction of grape must into like a wonderful syrup. And they have something today called saba, which is basically the same exact thing. It's a 1/3 reduction of grape must, but it is kind of expensive, especially...
Gonna sound really ignorant. What the hell's grape must? I don't know what grape must is. Man, when I eventually do some more of my cooking streams on Twitch, I should do some real... I know I'm going to do some of the Cursed Dylan recipes, but, like, imagine I try doing a Max Miller recipe.
For the amount that we're using, so you can make a reduction from grape juice. It's not going to be as complex, but it will serve you just fine. Also, all of the ingredient quantities are really up to you, depending on your taste, so feel free to vary them. Oh, and you'll also need a steak. And you can cook it pretty much however you want. The recipe says to boil it first, but that's just a great way to ruin a steak. So I seared mine and then put it in the oven with some salt to roast, which is probably what they would have done, but you can go ahead and grill it, whatever you want. It's not the star of the show, the sauce is. And to make the sauce, first grind up the myrtleberry with the pepper, and then add the cumin, oil, honey, garum, and de frutum, and mix it all together. Then put it into a saucepan and set it over.
I'm not gonna lie, the sauce doesn't sound bad. Like if the garum doesn't overpower the rest of the sauce, I feel like it's gonna have a lot of complexity to it. Like it doesn't sound like it would be a bad sauce. Imagine it just tastes like A1 or something terrible. But like it seems like a decent sauce.
For medium-low heat to simmer for about 10 minutes. It really is one of the easiest recipes ever, but it does take 10 minutes of waiting, which is perfect because that'll give you time to subscribe to Tasting History, hit that notification bell, and contemplate what you might do if you received an invitation to dinner from the Emperor Nero.
Better Nero than Claudius. No, not Nero, wow. Okay, comment section can hate me for that one. I meant Caligula. Wow. Nero literally was Claudius. No, but Caligula. Sorry. Caught myself there immediately. I don't need to be corrected on that one. I'm sorry. That was literally a slip. I'm sorry.
So being invited to a banquet by the Emperor of Rome meant you were probably going to be in for quite the interesting experience. Now, some might be more subdued, like those given by the Emperor Augustus, a man who hardly even drank wine. He used to provide a meal of 3 courses, 6 when he was in a very generous mood, with no great extravagance. But a banquet from the Emperor Vitellius, who only reigned for 8 months, was probably going to be pretty off the hook because he spent over 900 million sesterces on feasts in that short time. Less inviting might be a feast from the Emperor.
Can we have a comparison of like what 900 sesterces works out to, like in like a reasonable amount of currency? It's kind of hard for me to figure out. Like that could mean a lot. That could mean nothing. I'm assuming that it means a lot by how you phrased it, but that doesn't really give me any information.
Domitian, whose black banquet included tombstones inscribed with the names of the guests. Then there's the Emperor Elagabalus, who held a feast where he supposedly smothered people to death with flowers.
What?
Both of these feasts definitely deserve episodes in their own right. But if you really wanted to experience all that Imperial Rome had to offer, then it was an invite from Emperor Nero that you might covet. Nero was a bit of a culinary connoisseur. Pliny said that he received the very last stalk of the precious silphium plant, and his daily dinner could last up to 12 hours, where he drank copious amounts of wine and finished everything off with his favorite oxyporum, a laxative of quince, pomegranate, sumac, and saffron. And those were just his daily dinners.
let's go have the greatest feast ever. You know what we're gonna finish it up with? Instead of a nightcap, yeah, we're just gonna pump ourselves full of laxatives so we can do it again.
His feasts, on the other hand, could last for days and feature dishes like flamingo tongue, dormouse, fig stuffed sow's udder, and every other odd dish that the gourmand Apicius espoused earlier that century. And it's thought that the Feast of Trimalchio from Satyricon, while a satire, was based on one of these great feasts. And I'll put a link up here where I talk more about the fictional feast, but the real inspiration probably came in the year 64, the same year as the Great Fire of Rome. It was thrown in honor of Nero by his advisor Tigellinus, likely for the festival of Saturnalia, which is coming up very soon, so if you haven't done your Saturnalia shopping already, you better get started.
I have to go do that.
Suetonius says that he would often levy his friends to pay up to 4 million sesterces for feasts dedicated to him. This feast in 64 included all of the usual trappings that a great Roman feast would have, except it went well above and beyond. Tacitus says that it was the most extravagant and notorious feast of Nero's reign. The banquet took place on a raft built on Agrippa's lake. It was towed by other vessels with gold and ivory fittings, and their oarsmen were degenerates, assorted according to age and their libidinous attainments.
I'm sorry, what? The oarsmen were degenerates assorted according to their age and libidinous? No, this is how you get in those documents. No!
Attainments. On the quays were brothels stocked with ladies of high rank, and opposite them were harlots, naked and gesturing obscenely. At nightfall, the woods and houses nearby echoed with singing and blazed with lights. Nero himself, defiled by every natural and unnatural lust, had left no abomination in reserve with which to crown his vicious existence. Basically, Nero had done it all. He had nothing left to shock people with, until a few days into the festivities. Now, you might recall in my episode on Saturnalia that the festival was a bit of a topsy-turvy time, with slaves and servants being served by their masters, and everybody being encouraged to make a bit of a fool of themselves. But Nero went one step further, when he stooped to marry himself to one of that filthy herd, a former slave by name Pythagoras. The bridal veil was worn by the emperor, and everyone witnessed the ceremony, the wedding dower.
Wait. Okay, my history here is going to crap. Like Pythagoras, we don't know, because Pythagoras. Huh.
And the nuptial bed and torches, going so far as to imitate the cries and lamentations of a maiden being deflowered.
I don't want to see that!
This was definitely beyond the emperor's usual dining shenanigans, which might feature a recital of him singing for several hours.
No, not that That's what I was going to say. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, I was pretty sure that the other Pythagoras was a very, very influential person who had his own little cult. I was gonna say, I'm like, he was Greek, and he was a very, very influential individual. So I was like, former slave Pythagoras. I'm like, what? Yeah, it's not the same guy. I was really confused.
With the doors barred so no one could leave. He really loved a captive audience. But better to watch the entertainment than be part of it, because alongside the usual poets and jesters and occasional gladiatorial fight, being the entertainment at a Nero banquet might find you tied to a stake in his garden. At one banquet, he devised a kind of game in which, covered with the skin of some wild animal, he was let loose from a cage and attacked young men and women, naked, who were bound to stakes. Though that was better than when he used stakes to tie up Christians, who he falsely accused of starting the Great Fire of Rome. He had them bound to stakes, covered in pitch, and then set alight as human torches to illuminate a garden party. So you may be starting to see that an invite to dinner with Nero, while filled with good food, might not be worth the calories.
No.
And frankly, you might want to steer clear of the food as well. See, his mother had famously used mushrooms to poison his adopted father, Claudius. And during one dinner where his adopted brother Britannicus was present, Nero tested some poison on a pig, which died instantly. Then he ordered that the poison be taken to the dining room and given to Britannicus. The boy dropped dead at the very first taste. And even if it's not poison or immolation, dinner at Nero's could still be deadly. During the festival of Minerva, Nero hosted a banquet where his beloved mother, Agrippina, the same dear lady who allegedly poisoned Claudius, was graciously received and seated at the table above the emperor. Nero prolonged the banquet with various conversation, then escorted her on her departure, clinging with kisses to her eyes and bosom. Then, always the dutiful son, he put her on a boat and bid her adieu. What she didn't know was that the roof to the boat had been filled with lead and was meant to collapse and kill her. And it did collapse, but the sofa that she was on was so sturdy that it actually protected her and she did not die. A feat which our IKEA couch could likely not replicate. Unfortunately for her, Nero heard that she survived and then just sent assassins to kill her, which they did.
Less poetic.
But for argument's sake, let's say you don't mind Nero's singing, depravity, or murderous ways, and you accept the invitation anyway. Well, if it's in one of the last years of his reign, it might be worth it for the venue alone. See, after the fire of Rome destroyed much of the city, he used the opportunity to rebuild. Not only the city itself with wider streets and other fire-safe design concepts, but also to expand the imperial palace so that it took up nearly a quarter of the city. It was called the Domus Aurea, or Golden House, and was one of the grandest buildings in antiquity. Its vestibule was large enough to contain a...
I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect it to turn into a history lesson. I'm very fascinated by it. I thought this was just gonna be cooking.
Colossal statue of the emperor 120 feet high, and it was so extensive that it had a triple colonnade a mile long. There was a pond too, like a sea, surrounded with buildings to represent cities. In the rest of the house, everything was overlaid with gold and adorned with gems and mother of pearl. And when he finally moved in, Nero said, "Now at last I can be housed like a human being." Hear, hear. And this is where he held some of his most fantastic feasts. Suetonius describes the main banquet hall, a round building known as the Senatio Rotunda. It had panels of ivory which could open up to shower down flowers in spring.
You know what's a really clever idea as far as like the content, like the content format he does? It's like while the food is cooking, he just does this. He's like, all right, I've got 30 minutes to kill while the steak is getting ready and all the other stuff, or like the what it was like his sauce is simmering, right? You know, it's like I got some time. Let me talk to the audience and make my video, and then I'll have everything ready.
Sprinkle perfume over the guests. And the most amazing thing, something so outlandish that most historians thought that it was pure fiction, but they found out in 2009 during an excavation that it actually did this, was that the entire room rotated in time with the heavens. Pretty amazing. And something I'll only be able to imagine as I sit in my non-rotating, flowerless dining room and enjoy my ancient Roman steak sauce. So once your sauce has reduced a bit, add in the starch and stir to dissolve. Then keep it simmering for another 5 minutes or so until it thickens a bit more, and then remove it from the heat and serve at once. And here we are, ancient Roman steak sauce. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, I was gonna say the sauce looks good. The steak did not.
It's so sweet. It's wonderful. It's almost like a barbecue sauce, which I love.
It's A1. He created advanced A1.
Finesse the ingredients to really have any level of sweetness that you want, but the defrutum and the honey really come through and add that sweetness, but you're still getting a lot of cumin and some pepper in there as well. I think if you don't like cumin, actually maybe even back it off a little bit, but I like cumin, so it works for me. What's always fun with pretty much
steak.
any ancient Roman dish, most of them have garum, and it adds this, it has the saltiness to it, but it also adds this like just unfamiliar foreign flavor, this savoriness that really rounds out the dish. And they used to use it even in their desserts, and I think that I should try making an ancient Roman dessert with garum. I think that will be fun. So definitely make this. You can use it on any meat at all. It's really like a barbecue. If you like barbecue, make this. I think you'll enjoy it. Again,
you get your
don't
meat
feel like
covered
you're
in
married to the quantities. Taste as it's cooking and add in what you want. So thank you again to Brightland for sponsoring this video. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Tasting History with Max Miller, and I will see you next time on Tasting History.
That was fun. That was fun. I like that. All right, that was a nice little change. We'll probably watch more of him if it does well. That's not A1, it's Alpha. All right, next video. Let me jump over. Let me see what I have. Let's see. Let's do this one. This might be cool. We are gonna try another mini Minutemen. Okay, we're gonna try. Garam will definitely add some unique flavor to a dish. Yeah. But all right, let me get this ready to go. Okay. We're good. Hello. Hold on. Put up my music. I hear BB. I was told to shh. You picked her up. Oh. Shh, chat, be quiet. Baby is sleeping. Shh. I could have gotten you the bottle. You don't have a free hand. Okay, hold on, chat. Hold on, I gotta help her. Hold on, chat. Hold on. I'll be right back. So I helped put the baby down and put her into the crib. However, as I was about to do this, I bashed my pinky toe on the bed frame. Somebody wished a pox on me. My pinky toe hurt so much. Right? You know how hard it is not to scream when you're holding a sleeping baby and you bang your pinky toe? That is not fun. It's not fun at all. Anyway. All right, this is gonna be fun. Oh god, hold on. Okay. So we are giving hang on, let me fix this. Can I grab this? Oh my god. Okay. We're watching another mini Minutemen. We're gonna be watching Awful Archaeology, the Gosford Glyphs. I'm excited for this one, so let's see. Also, I apologize if there's any food sounds. I'm trying my best not to have any, but I haven't eaten, so I'm having a Fig Newton bar.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while, okay? Howdy, friends. My name's Milo Rossi, and welcome back to Awful Archaeology, the show where I spin the Wheel of Pain, which is completely covered in archaeological conspiracy theories and misconceptions, and I talk about whatever it lands on in depth. The last time I spun the Wheel of Pain was a year and a half.
Wait, that's actually how he does that? That's amazing. That's such a good system. That's such a good system. I didn't know. I mean, I'm still new to Milo. That's amazing. I love that. That's so good. Hi, Lori.
Half ago. Now, I know that we've all been aware that I'm not really one for a post schedule on this channel, but that's pretty bad even by my standards. Now, before I hear your caterwauling about having to wait a year and a half for the next episode of Awful Archaeology, I've been a little busy. I published a book. I went to Karahan Tepe.
Casual things. Oh, I got my play button. Oh, I published a book.
Got one of these. I went to Peru. I did a cross-country motorcycle solo trip where I filmed an entire 18-part documentary series by myself. Oh, and I got a house with a new studio.
Oh my god!
It doesn't really look new, and that's because it isn't. It's like 100 and something years old, and it's literally falling apart. If you want to see more about that, you can check out my 1,000,000 subscriber video. I give a little bit of a tour. But all that being said, I'm now finally in the place, both physically and mentally, to pour my time back into doing what I love, which is rotting your brain with archaeological conspiracy theories. So I think we're gonna get this thing started. Episode 6 of Awful Archaeology on the Baghdad Battery, July 31st, 2022. By the time you're seeing this, it will probably be 2024. So, okay.
Well, first of all, that's amazing. Second of all, so this is where the Atlantis joke comes from. The last time he spun is when he landed on Atlantis. Yeah, okay, so this is where the Atlantis joke comes from. See, now I'm in the know. Now I understand in the Milo lore.
It's been a minute. But anyway, at the end of the Baghdad Battery episode, I spun a bingo wheel for some reason. I don't know why I diverted from the Wheel of Pain. I think I lost it for a little bit. So the last time I spun the bingo spinner of pain, it decreed that I would have to talk about the Gosford Glyphs. Ladies and gentlemen, after a breakneck 18 months, it is my enormous pleasure to finally welcome you back to another episode of...
I'm here for this.
Australia, home of Tim Tams, frozen Coke, and the smooth brain eucalyptus.
What's a Tim Tam? Wait.
Australia, home of Tim Tams, frozen.
What's a Tim Tam? I've never seen a Tim Tam before. I love that we're going from the fun world of reality to the fun world of fictional. Yup. There is no substitute. 11 biscuits. I want to try a Tim Tam. That looks good.
Coke and the smooth brain eucalyptus chlamydia bear. Did you know that 85% of koalas have chlamydia?
Yep.
Of course not. They won't teach you that in schools because of woke. That has nothing to do with this story. What does have to do with this story is Egyptians. You may be wondering what Egyptians have to do with a story that takes place in Australia. That's a fucking phenomenal question. So ladies and gentlemen, put on your Australian bush hat because today we're going to the land down under to explore a set of Egyptian-style hieroglyphics carved into a canyon wall. Carvings that some say tell the story of a fleet of Egyptian ships that sailed to Australia nearly 5,000 years ago.
What?
So today we're going to be analyzing this claim for ourselves. We're going to explore these mysterious glyphs, figure out what they mean, try and piece together why.
Just on a surface level, there was no conceivable way at that point in time. Like weren't like the Vikings some of the earliest transcontinental like shipfaring culture? Right? Like Egypt had nothing even remotely capable of doing that. The mods have it if you want a Discord link.
There, and even watch a little bit of everyone's favorite television show, Ancient Aliens. But first, per awful archaeology tradition, it's... So I had a great idea for a new kind of visual gag that I want to do for awful archaeology, which is putting all the title cards on the wall and then connecting them with red string. But I don't have any red string, and I'm about an hour and a half from the nearest place that would actually sell it. So instead, we're going to have to break into my personal box of string and rubber bands. You're going to have to forgive me that they aren't red. I know that this gag is not nearly as funny without it. I'm going to fucking lose it. Yeah, no, that looks really good. That looks
I'm not trying to critique Milo because I love Milo already, but like, he has a team, right? Like, doesn't he have a team that help him with editing and stuff like that? Why is the audio like? Do you hear the audio humming in the background? Fun fact: the reason so many koalas have chlamydia is because the antibiotics that would treat it would also kill the gut bacteria that lets them digest eucalyptus leaves, which is why we can't help. I mean, koalas' brains are also literally smooth. Like, I'm pretty sure that if you put eucalyptus on a flat surface, they can't consume it.
Really, that looks good. That looks professional. It looks good. I don't know how my production quality has managed to go up in lights, microphone, camera, but it's gone down in pretty much every other way. As returning viewers of Awful Archaeology will know, each episode will feature a custom drink. I post the recipes beforehand, so if you would like to drink along with me at the live premiere or of age to do so, then you can do so with just a little bit of forethought. I've been told by those that I know from Australia that I guess a bit of a cultural drink there is frozen Coke. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if this is like a regional thing, but I figured I would do a little bit of an homage to my Aussie audience out there. And so we're going to be doing a little spin on what is potentially an Australian classic. Frozen Jack and Coke. This isn't Jack. Okay, a frozen Makers and Coke. And I swear we...
I'm sorry, that was actually great. See?
Frost?
No, you hear it, right? Like, you hear the audio problems. That's not just me. Because every time I pause, it goes away. You guys definitely hear the audio problems.
Steve. I probably could just leave this in as one long clip. That was... Some jokes just write themselves, really. And, you know, it's always something, isn't it? But the second I leave this room, the squirrels... Jesus, I thought I just saw one. The squirrels are going to be out in mass, and they're going to be licking the sugar off the floor. Oh, I didn't really think about this part. Probably isn't how this is intended.
What the hell? Okay, the audio is going to drive me nuts. You guys, it's driving me nuts. Please, I'm checking my headphones. It has to be from the video. Like, everything else is running fine, and I don't hear it now. It has to be from the video. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, no, my headphones are in fine.
I do love prop comedy. My hands are so fucking cold after that. I don't know how short this whole piece edited down to, but this has been like a 15-minute ordeal. Okay.
Does it get better?
Now that we have whatever this is. We're gonna do this part. Extra. Can't hurt. That is definitely not how a frozen Coke is supposed to work. I'm imagining it more like a slushie. All my Australian viewers out there, consider this an intentional sacrilege of your country. If I could even stir it, that would be kind of cool. Fuck, I need like a pair of gloves. My hands are freezing.
What?
All of you drinking along with me, whether at the live premiere or separately, cheers.
I like how...
Now that
I'm sorry, not to be like not a prude, but like a nitpicker here. I love he's like, oh yeah, I make a custom drink and we give the recipe out beforehand. He just put Makers in a cold cup of Coke. That's not a recipe. It's literally just a frozen can of Coke and Maker's Mark. How is that a recipe? I thought he was gonna be like, oh, you know, I made an Egyptian themed drink where you know I combined these ingredients to make this. Like, oh, I took Hypnotic and I combined it with this and I put this in it and it has this flair. No, it's just bourbon and Coke. Just straight bourbon and Coke. Oh, all right, okay, Milo. It's a recipe to me because I follow it? Man, you know, when the baby's a bit older and I don't have to like worry about like watching her every second of the day, I will absolutely do like a drink along before we play like Mario Kart again, and I will give you guys a really good recipe. All right, from my years as a bartender, I harbor a lot of good recipes, so I would like us to actually enjoy real recipes and not just bourbon and Coke. By definition, it's a recipe combined X with Y. Does it feel good to have your nose up in the air, Edom? All right, you with your stolen valor? Does it feel good? I bet it does. I bet it does.
I have the strength to talk about it. It is finally time to talk about the
Gosford Glyphs.
The Gosford glyphs are also known as the Carrion glyphs, and they are a set of 300 Egyptian-style rock carvings set into a canyon wall near the Brisbane Water National Park.
Wait, Lori, are you trolling me? Lori, you've known me for years. I was a bartender for like 4 or 5 years. I was a bartender for like 4 or 5 years before I ended up going into it was actually before I went into graphic design, which was then before I went into veterinary.
They are located just north of the city of Sydney, which many of you may actually know of as being the only place in Australia. The glyphs are divided into 28 different plates, which are like little sections of glyphs, like pages, and they are split between the east and west walls of the canyon. The carvings depict all sorts of things, from birds to insects, of course geometric shapes and patterns, this great value brand Anubis, also these cute little birds. Aren't those fun? I love birds. Did I already say birds? I think I started this by saying birds. Birds. Now, these glyphs have been used by some to suggest that ancient Egyptians were able to sail to Australia about 5,000 years ago. Now, I hear the critical among you rightfully thinking, whoa, 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 hold your horses. How can they think that? We better have some pretty good evidence before...
The noise of conspiracy, it's turning into a gay trans-vaccinated communist who believes in fake things like Antarctica, evolution, and the sun. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. I am already several of those things there. That is pretty bad.
We start jumping to those conclusions, which leads to the logical next question of what... LeBron.
Truly
Messi.
LeBron.
What do they say? The translation of the Gosford glyphs was discussed in a 2014
Anubis from Temu, you mean Temubis?
paper. The paper is entitled The Burial Site of Nefertiru by Reinaud de Jong, who some of you may know from his other published works like How the Sun God Reached America, a study of megalithic sites. I don't know what came over me there. It's like fucking Footloose up in this. Reinaud's paper includes a translation by a Egyptologist.
Y'all, Tetris doesn't. I don't pay attention. Okay. I will make a point of this. Theta, I don't go out of my way and talk to individuals when I do these because I have to put a recording up and then I have to do more editing. So no, I am not taking the time to really greet and everything because now I have to go into this video at this timestamp and do the editing, which I don't want to do.
Johnson. I am doing air quotes, but you can't see them because I got my fucking mittens on. According to Johnson's translation, the glyphs tell the story of two brothers, Nefer-Jaseb and Nefertiru, who became shipwrecked on the coast of Australia. Not only were they brothers, they were also princes, sons of the pharaoh Khufu. So as the glyphs allegedly state, the two were shipwrecked there after a storm, and they go on to describe the harsh environment that they have landed in. They survive for a while in this arid environment before Jaseb is bitten by a snake twice, killing him. Real bummer. Apparently, even Egyptian royalty is no match for Australian wildlife. After this, his body was mummified and interred somewhere near the carvings. And that's kind of where the carvings end, and we don't really know what became of however many other people were there. Now, it sounds kind of believable, doesn't it? If you read the translation, like, it reads like some sort of ancient scripture does. But if we dig...
VTubers, man. What about VTubers, Shadow? I can do the same thing, be like, chatters, man.
Literally just below the surface, some cracks will start to show. Now, the glyphs are one thing, but none of us are actually reading the glyphs. Instead, we are reading an English translation of the glyphs. And therefore, before we end up looking...
No, you know what? I'm going to pause here and I'm going to rant. Now I'm going to rant because of that. That one comment, I'm going to one guy myself here. All right? So, like... I take an hour at least every single stream before I start to talk with chat, interact, and do all of that stuff, right? And everybody in chat, not everybody, but there's always people in chat who bitch and complain, who are like, can we start the content? When we start the content, we want you to start the content. I don't want this chatting time. So then I start the content, and then people get mad at me when I focus on the content instead of the chat when we actually get to the content. Ah!
Into the carvings themselves, we have to look into who is actually providing us what we are supposed to take at face value. So gather around, ye children, and let me tell you about
Ray.
Those of you familiar with Egyptology may hear the name Ray Johnson and jump to Ray W. Johnson, the Egyptologist affiliated with the University of Chicago. And those of you familiar with the internet in 2012 may jump to Ray W. Johnson, host of Equals 3.
Guy,
but instead of Ray W. Johnson or Ray W. Johnson, we're going to be talking about Ray W. Johnson. You just can't make this shit up. I'm trying. For this part, the names get a little confusing, so I'm going to have to refer to Ray Johnson, who deciphered the Gosford glyphs, or something else. I'll call him Australian Johnson. Australian Johnson is not an Egyptologist. Despite Rideout referring to him as an Egyptologist in his paper, he is not. He has no formal training in Egyptology, Egyptian history, hieroglyphics, or the Egyptian language whatsoever. Now, I don't want to gatekeep that he can't understand archaeology without...
Okay, but real thing, like, as I say, because Milo, I don't think has a degree in archaeology either, so I mean, it's not about gatekeeping. And I'm sure this guy is actually a moron, but there's no real title of Egyptologist from degrees, right? Isn't an Egyptologist just basically saying you're an Egyptologist? Obviously, you want to be informed to be able to do that, like focusing on Egyptian culture and all that. But like, is there actually like an education path of becoming an Egyptologist?
Without a degree, and Milo, you're being dogmatic in the scientific world. I'm sure he was fascinated by Egyptology and did a lot of reading on the subject. But you are going to need to have some sort of formal training in order to be able to confidently decipher and publish a interpretation of a dead language. I can hear the squirrels in the attic. They're cheeping. Like, if you put someone who was interested in surgery into a room with a surgeon, I'm sure they could hold a really great conversation, but at the end of the day, I'm only going to try...
He actually does. He has a degree. He has a degree in archaeology. That's really cool. That's really cool, actually.
Just one of them to take my appendix out. But that did not stop Australian Johnson from taking my appendix out anyway. Despite the naming confusion, the American Egyptologist Ray W. Johnson had no affiliation whatsoever in deciphering the Gosford glyphs. To boot, Australian Johnson was, as far as I can figure out, the single sole translator of the Gosford glyphs, which means that every interpretation that we see from this point on is based on the guesswork from a guy who likes Egypt. Seriously, the confusion actually compounded on itself so much that Ray W. Johnson eventually had to make a statement about the Gosford glyphs, saying, "I have never translated any faux Egyptian hieroglyphic inscriptions in Australia. Those rock inscriptions were clearly not done by any ancient Egyptians. That Ray Johnson, whoever he is or was, has no association with the Oriental Institute of the University of Chicago, and I suspect is not an Egyptologist." And you would be right, Ray Johnson, because he is not an Egyptologist. I theorize that the naming confusion here actually lended some sort of pseudo-credibility to the Gosford glyphs, because if you were to just Google Egyptologist Ray Johnson, you would probably get the American one and have no reason to believe it wasn't the same person. And apparently this validity went a long way, because it wasn't long before this claim was picked up by everyone's favorite series on the History Channel, Ancient Aliens.
Oh no.
God damn it, I have to take my mittens off for this part. I gotta use my screen so I can watch this episode. Never let him catch you without your mittens. So the Gosford glyphs ended up being discussed in
oh come on, it can't be
Ancient
that
Aliens,
cold.
Season 7 episode, wait, no. Season 11 episode 7. Season 11 episode Dyslexia. Uh-oh. The title cards are gone, Milo has a haircut, and he's carrying the audience retention lime. You know what that means? It's time for an ad read. And that is...
Oh my god. That is quite funny. And I love that. I do, truly.
Love that they start their episode with like the fucking like spy movie graphic. Central Coast,
New South Wales, Australia. Carvings that experts say do not resemble indigenous artwork, but Egyptian hieroglyphs.
Oh, come on.
Okay. We are gonna talk about the glyphs themselves, but
Yeah, like looking at it like right away, it's like glaringly obvious that it's not the same thing. Like, come on.
I'm gonna just come right out and say it. These glyphs look like shit. Doesn't resemble indigenous artwork. Dog, it barely resembles Egyptian artwork.
After deciphering the texts,
A scared beetle looks like it got hit by a car.
It's so
21st
bad.
century Egyptologist Raymond Johnson believed them to reveal the burial site of Lord Nefertiru, who died while visiting the area with his brother between 2637 to 2614 BC.
Well, that really is a beautiful, dramatic recreation, but again...
Also, like, another thing that's completely taken out of, not even put into the equation now, like, when travel was done at that type of distance, it really wasn't two ways. So, like, it's like, oh yeah, he was visiting the area with his brother. Like, no, first of all, they would never have gotten that far. But if you traveled that way, like, I'm pretty sure even with the Vikings, right? Once they came here, they were here. Or the Canada, right? Like, or Greenland, whatever it was, right? Like, when they got there, they stayed. I don't think that they were going back and forth. Again, you could correct me. I'm not an expert. I am a cat girl on the internet, meow. But, like, I don't think that you're traveling, you know, thousands upon thousands of miles in that era of time, and you're just going to be like, yeah, I'm just visiting there casually.
It is all completely contingent on the translation of somebody who was not qualified or probably capable of translating the Egyptian hieroglyphics. So before you go running to the comments and be like, Milo, you don't have to have a degree to be able to decipher the hieroglyphics. Yeah, okay, I hear that, but we haven't gotten into the translations by the other actual qualified Egyptologist.
Giorgio Tsoukalos met with local ancient astronaut theorist Evan Strong.
Hold on, what was Evan Strong's qualifications?
What?
Co-author of something? Co-author of Ancient Aliens in Australia. I don't want to be an asshole, but the qualifications that they put for people on, you know, things like this are just, they crack me up. As someone who has written a book, I can tell you, you don't need any qualifications to write a book.
So what do these hieroglyphs say?
Well, at least one panel talks about two brothers, two princes. This one over here, it's more of a philosophical astrophysics style thing with symbols meaning all sorts of esoteric stuff, so.
I still don't, I understand why he drinks during this, but I still don't understand how he stomachs dealing with people like this on a regular basis, because that, just hearing like 2 sentences is enough to make me like lose my mind. It's really esoteric things. Like, no, stop you, like, no.
I'm sorry, what the fuck? Were you answering his question or winning a fucking Scrabble tournament? Like a fucking SAT question. Yeah, it's got philosophical, astro-esoterical kind of symbology that will really be existential to the greater metaphysical creation of this enigmatic being. I can say a bunch of words too. I don't need to be a co-author of a book to do that.
With you.
Now, have these symbols at all been interpreted by Egyptologists?
There've been a few, actually.
No way do they hit him with the office zoom. Oh, my man got put on the spot. Okay, Giorgio, you're asking the right questions. I appreciate that. And that was a very interesting answer because he said yes, sort of.
A few different people have done that.
What was their reaction?
Well, Raymond Johnson was one of the first people to come here and translate.
Okay, but you didn't answer Giorgio's question. He asked if any Egyptologists had deciphered it, and you said yes, which is true, but then you go on to talk about the one person who deciphered it who wasn't a fucking Egyptologist.
He actually sent some of his translations off to the Cairo Library, and Dr. Abu Diagazi ended up saying, yep, you're on the right track.
Okay, well, I looked into this one about the Dr. Abu Diagazi, and I can find some record of him, but I can find absolutely no record of this interaction ever taking place. But in good faith, I am not going to just assume that it didn't happen. So instead, we will put a pin in it as one potential actual Egyptologist potentially agreeing with someone who was definitely not an Egyptologist, and we will compare that to the confirmed interpretations of actual Egyptologists later.
So this one here, we call the UFO glyph, and people have called that since they've been coming here because it kind of looks like a UFO.
It definitely has the classic UFO shape. It's got the rays or whatever you want to call it.
Dongles. I want to call it dongles.
The ancient Egyptians, we have stories and Aboriginal stories about their arrival and about their visits long before Europeans had arrived here.
Huh? Okay, so we're getting into a bit of a culturally sensitive place here, so I'm going to play this as sympathetically as I can. This is a very similar argument that we saw in my breakdown of Ancient Apocalypse, where if there is folklore from an area, you can just kind of make it fit around whatever theory you have. I guarantee you that there is no folklore saying that Egyptians came to visit. I'm sure there is plenty of folklore about things from the sea, people from the sea, people from the river, people from the land, people from the sky. But because those folklores are so broad and all-encompassing, it is unfair to take those and just plaster them on top of a poorly founded theory in order to make it seem like it holds more water. But this is how the people who peddle these conspiracies will get you. If they throw enough loose connections at you, they can sort of start to trick your brain into thinking that everything is much more connected and coherent than it actually is. That's why in things like Ancient Aliens and in Ancient Apocalypse, you just get kind of this slew of like random loosely connected points instead of one coherent fact-based explanation of the thing that they are trying to propose. Because all of these theories are hinged on the, you know, fucking thumbtacks on the wall. And so they just kind of have to connect as many things as possible before it seems like it actually makes sense.
My mom told me Santa is real, so be quiet. No, Santa's not real. Oh my God. I'm going to have to completely like hide. I'm going to have to obfuscate that for my daughter as she grows up. I'm going to be like, nope, Santa's real. I'm going to become one of those parents and I'll be like, no, I have to hide all the information that says otherwise. No, Santa is real. We believe.
So now, with all of this in mind, I think that it's finally time that we talk about the glyphs themselves. Wait, am I out of paper? So just like the co-author of that book told you, the glyphs themselves have been analyzed by multiple Egyptologists, which is probably why he acknowledged it briefly, but in the same way that a toddler acknowledges when you ask them why there's a stick of butter in the bed.
A few different people have done that.
And probably the reason that he responded like this is because not a single one of the Egyptologists who have analyzed this site can corroborate the claims of Australian Johnson. In the Ancient Aliens segment on the site, they claim that these glyphs are Proto-Egyptian, which is somewhat true in the sense that some of the glyphs are Proto-Egyptian, or at least supposed to look like Proto-Egyptian. But every single Egyptologist who has looked at this site has noted the fact that not only are there Proto-Egyptian hieroglyphics, but there are hieroglyphics that do not appear until literally thousands of years later in the Egyptian language, which makes the mere concept of trying to translate these glyphs absolutely fucking insane. Because you were...
Just a reminder that this show, Ancient Aliens, has 22 seasons, 277-hour-long episodes, and has been made since from March 8th, 2009 to present because people love dumb shit.
We're looking at thousands of years of language development jumbled onto a rock wall. And this is why I made a point earlier to say that you need some sort of qualifications in order to decipher hieroglyphics. Because to you and I, they just look like hieroglyphics. I'm not an Egyptologist, and chances are you aren't either. So you look at this and you're like, yeah, there you go, there's some hieroglyphics, what of it? But if I showed you a written page that swaps between text, shorthand, and Old English, you'd be able to tell there was a problem pretty fucking quick because you speak the language.
Sonnet 29 by William Shakespeare from 1609. When in disgrace with fortune in men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, wishing I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who was good, I would call her. I wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat and a 6'4" Impala.
What I'm trying to say is there's more nuance to deciphering the glyphs than having a textbook that says what all the glyphs mean. Like, you need to have an understanding of the language itself in order to be translating it, not just a superficial understanding of what the symbols mean. But the fact that the symbols on this wall span about 2,000 years of Egyptian history is only the tip of the iceberg, because the glyphs themselves are...
I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually remember the History Channel ever having, like, good content. Like, I remember old Discovery Channel used to be good, right, before it became slop, but I don't ever remember... And I remember Animal Planet being a good channel. I don't remember History Channel ever being anything other than slop.
An absolute mess. I think I said it earlier, but to put it bluntly, they look like shit. Not only are the glyphs poorly carved, but they have mistakes as egregious as being carved backwards. Boyo Akinga, who is an Egyptologist from McGuire University, had this to say on the glyphs. I saw them a few years ago. There aren't any connected texts that make them make any sense at all. People just don't want to believe that they are fake. They want this connection with ancient Egypt to be true, but unfortunately, it's not. Now, before the Hancock fanboys go crying in the comments about the dogmas of science censoring the community, here's another quote by Professor Akinga. I'd be the first person to welcome some sort of link, because it would make my subject relevant to Australian history.
I can hear my little BB in the background crying. I think she's getting her diaper changed. I know the type of cry she's doing. She's saying to Yura, she's like, no, I don't want my diaper changed. I don't know if you guys hear her crying in the background. I just wanted to elaborate.
I don't know if the whole pseudo-archaeology crowd just chooses to ignore or genuinely hasn't noticed that any archaeologist would kill to have their names on any of the things that they talk about. Like, if there was suddenly some great discovery that proved that there was an advanced, lost, globe-spanning civilization at the end of the Ice Age, literally archaeologists would be tripping over each other to have their name on the paper that proves it. So no, it's not archaeologists out to get you trying to cover up the tracks. It's literally just that there is no evidence, and their job is to only say things when they know that it's true. Australian Egyptologist Naguib Kadawati, who has a PhD in Egyptology, had this to say on the Gosford glyphs. It makes no sense at all. Merely a collection of Egyptian words and symbols done by amateurs. Hilarious. Did not hold back on him. I mean, really, to call them amateurs?
They're a bunch of fucking amateurs.
Hey, Walter, will you just shut the fuck up?
Australian Egyptologist Dr. Gregory Gilbert also analyzed the Gosford glyphs, and you're never gonna believe what he had to say about it. I believe that the inscription is a modern forgery, and not a good one at that. As far as a translation is concerned, the inscription has several features which were copied from several modern publications of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. However, the greater part of the inscription cannot be translated, as it is nothing more than a collection of hieroglyphs that do not form words or phrases.
That's funny.
But they're amateurs.
So the more we start to look at the interpretations of those qualified to actually decipher the glyphs, we start to see a pattern beginning to emerge. Pretty much everyone unanimously is saying that they were not carved by Egyptians, and that they have inconsistencies that run so deep that they would have been comedically wrong to anyone actually familiar with the Egyptian language. So even if the glyphs did translate as Australian Johnson claimed that they did, there is still some pretty big holes in this story. The literal carving of the glyphs themselves disprove that they were done by Egyptians. According to the story, the brothers were royalty, literally the sons of the pharaoh Khufu. And so in an expedition across the sea, no matter where they were going, they would have been accompanied by priests, soldiers, and scribes, all of the highest caliber of Egyptian society. They were royalty after all.
It's so sad. I mean, this is good content, but like, it's so sad that Milo needs to sit here and try to explain this in like a full form video, because it's such a glaringly obvious thing. Like, it just shows you how dumb we are as a society that we believe this stuff just by like what one idiot saying it. There's I won't say other things that happens with, but like, man, that happens way too often.
And so the fact that the glyphs look this amateur compounds it on top of the fact that they have errors as egregious as being backwards and literally being from the future undermines the idea that these carvings could have been done by anyone on a party accompanying the Egyptian royalty. Oh, and speaking of Egyptian royalty, we have a well-documented chronology of all of the Egyptian royal families, and while the pharaoh Khufu has many documented children, I could not find a single record of either of these two brothers. Which is weird that a pharaoh who allegedly lost two of his sons who just sailed off into the distance never made a single record of it in Egypt. But it's not even worth trying to discredit that, because at the end of the day, the carvings don't mean anything. The hieroglyphs don't translate to mean anything. They span thousands of years of Egyptian history, and they look like they were made by a fourth grader. But regardless of their legitimacy, they're still there. So how did that happen? Now, normally in awful archaeology, I begin by talking about the discovery of whatever it is I'm discussing. But in this case, it's the discovery that's the final nail in the coffin, which is why I waited until the end of this video to talk about the
fucking amateurs.
The glyphs were first reported in the 1970s by an Alan Dash. According to Dash's own retelling of the story, he cannot remember the exact date. But he was surveying the area around the Brisbane Water National Park as part of a water management survey. And allegedly, he saw a man coming from the direction of the canyon where the glyphs are. And now Alan Dash assumed that he was growing weed, which means he was either a massive narc or, and people who are watching this video, So Alan Dash decided to go poke around for whatever reason, and that is when he discovered a set of Egyptian-looking hieroglyphics on the west wall of the canyon. I specify that because they were only on the west wall.
I was gonna say, how do we, like, do we think that this is the Alan, do we think that this guy is the one who did it, or do we think that the Ray Johnson guy did it? Because it's one of the two.
6 months later, he came back with one of his buddies, and Viola, there were hieroglyphics on the east side of the canyon too. And when he returned a year later with some friends, he found even more glyphs, which he described as being much rougher than the other ones. The discovery of these glyphs definitely have their own red flags in them. But to add another layer onto it, this entire region was surveyed for aboriginal petroglyphs and rock carvings back in the 1830s. W.D. Campbell, who was the surveyor who looked for rock art in this region, reported finding absolutely nothing in this canyon, despite this area being rich in rock art, none of which looks like Egyptian hieroglyphics. When colonizers first divvied up and settled this area in the 1920s, there were still no mention of these petroglyphs, which you'd think if you found a canyon with those carvings in your backyard, you would have been like, y'all are not gonna fucking believe this. I've been saving this one because it's just so good. The earliest pictures of the Gosford glyphs that we know of are from 1983. They were taken by Jack Green, and just have a look at it. You see what I mean? It's just too good. I mean, the elephant in the room is that he looks emaciated, but the carving looks fresher than the Prince of Bel-Air. There's no patina, there's no lichen. All things you expect would have showed up if this glyph was there for 5,000 years. No, Milo, you know, that's how carvings work, right? Where they can sit there for 5,000 years looking brand spanking new, and then in the course of this picture being taken and the year of our Lord 2023, all the patina and lichen shows up. Hilariously, Jack Green, who saw them pretty quickly after they were carved,
so you think it was Jack Green
here, describes them as saying they look like they were carved with a Dremel. But the final piece of this puzzle is that in 1984, a park ranger by the name of Neil Martin literally catches an old man adding more carvings to the wall. But I mean, at this point, the cat was kind of out of the bag. And as those of you who watch this channel frequently are painfully aware, it is always sensationalized bullshit information that spreads way faster than the facts. And so the simple existence of these glyphs was enough for them to be catapulted into the dogmas of pseudoscience, regardless of the litany of evidence that they are complete fabrications with no basis in reality. And even though facts are slow to spread, the fact is the carvings are, I don't want to add another thing. I'm going to do my old-fashioned smash cut for this one. The carvings are forgeries. Archaeologist Ken Feder wrote about the Gosford glyphs and said, the Gosford glyphs are transparent fakes, poorly done and providing further proof for the assertion that an archaeological fraud need not be well conceived, well thought out, or well executed to garner a following among the gullible who wish to believe in its legitimacy. Jesus, Ken. But I mean, that's really what pseudoscience is, isn't it? You don't really need to think out your theory.
Look, people who believe pseudoscience are dumb. I don't really need to mince words. I'm sorry.
That well when you're peddling it to people who have convinced themselves that what they are telling you is wrong. And yeah, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of shit that they are telling you that's wrong, but it's not fucking archaeologists. I mean, really, there's microplastics in our blood, our farmland is being bought by oil empires, our tax dollars go to blowing up children overseas, and the leading cause of death for people under 25 is being shot. But sure, yeah, it's the dogmas of archaeology that are the problem. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You don't need to make up an invisible shadow government to be mad at. You can just be mad at the actual government. This is not the first or last time that we have seen archaeological forgeries in the Awful Archaeology series. With just another one that we have talked about was the Grave Creek Stone, which was episode 3? The reasons behind a forgery can vary. Fame, money, notoriety, all of these things play into people trying to make shit up. But each one of these forgeries is proof that it's much easier to destroy something than it is to create it. It is way easier to spread misinformation in the world than it is to be able to undo the damage it's done. These glyphs very well could have been carved by someone who was just having a fucking laugh. And yet now they are peddled on shows like Ancient Aliens. And granted, I don't think there's very many people who are like take this as scripture, but the simple
I'm
fact
sure there
that
are.
it went from
I'm sure
one
there
dude with
are.
a chisel just fucking around in a canyon to being peddled to hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of people is proof enough that it's really easy to spread bullshit. And so, as long as there is bullshit spread on this earth, I will stand here and try and diligently do the best I can.
That was horrible.
Hopefully undo some of the damage it's done. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think there's only one thing left to do, and that is spin the wheel of pain to figure out what we're talking about next time. Oh, God help me. Okay. Hello, Wheel of Pain. Oh, how I've missed you. Here we go.
And... what is Nebraska, man? I don't even know what that is.
My two favorite things, Nebraska and men. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all for watching Awful Archaeology. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the discovery of a mysterious set of remains supposedly belonging to an extinct human ancestor native to North America. I invite you to join me at the live premiere of episode 8 of Awful Archaeology, where you can drink along or just hang out. So if you don't want to miss it, you can hit the notification button so you know when the premiere is coming down the pipeline. I try and post it like 24 hours in advance. And if you want to support me directly, you can check me out on Patreon, where you can get early ad-free access to all of my videos. Ladies and gentlemen, remember to stay curious, stay inquisitive, and most importantly, we are so back.
When in disgrace with fortune in men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast.
I hate it, but I love it. You know what I mean?
Heaven with my bootless cries and look.
I just had to pause here for a second. Just gotta say, loving the representation here. Gyadu supremacy, absolutely.
Upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy, contented less.
Video.
Yet
You know
in
what I
these
mean?
thoughts,
Again,
myself
it's
almost
really love and
despising,
hate.
haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings.
The only thing I know about Nebraska is that it's flat. You know what? Fair. Love how you hate it, or hate how you love it? Yes. Okay. That was great. That was great. Like I said, horrible but great. All right, give me 1 second. Let me pause here and leave this on the screen. I'm just gonna do that, and I'll be back in a second. Just gonna check on the baby, and yeah. Sorry, I'm holding shortcake right now, and she's making it hard to unpause. She's being so sweet. Want to put her into the microphone? Do you guys hear her? She's being so good. I'm hoping it comes through. We only hear a V8 engine. She's a V8 engine. And she's so happy. She's getting attention. Okay. I don't know how long she'll sit on my lap for, but I'm holding her right now. You just hanging out with me still? You're staying with me a long time. I could have said bye hi and you say, I'm gonna put my cat on the mic. Yup. It's such a cute purr. Your car sounds weird? What do you mean my car sounds weird? My car is amazing. Can't believe that you guys think my car is weird. SMH. I'm pretty sure I can't watch Secret Level. I'm like 99.999% sure I can't watch Secret Level. Considering that I got hit with copyright stuff after watching Space King, I don't have high expectations. Okay, let's get the next video on. I believe the next video is going to be more Dylan. I don't know how far into the video I already am. Wait. I don't remember if Pen, did you get the last segment too, or is this the image looks familiar. Well, we'll find out. They blur the screen and stuff. Nah, I ain't doing that. Could do a watch along where you don't put it on stream, but we also have to watch it. I wouldn't do that. That doesn't sound like a good idea. All right. Let me turn off the music. I did. Okay. Here we go. We got more Dylan. Deep fried cookie dough. And I swear, as soon as it starts, as soon as we continue, it's just 0 to 100 instantly. All right. Before we even get into this, there is no way that deep fried cookie dough is going to be bad because it's just cookies, right? Like, if you're cooking cookie dough, is it cookie dough? Like, that's my question, right? If you're cooking cookie dough, doesn't it just become a cookie? So wouldn't it just be like a deep fried cookie?
Dough from 71. It's known that here in America they'll deep fry anything that isn't bolted to the earth, including zucchinis, hot dogs, and several species of large bird. To a half cup of butter, we add 2/3 of a cup of sugar. You come into my house. 1 1/3 cup flour. And a cup of chalky chips. Mix. There's no floofers. They don't bake these. They'll go be flatter than my butt. Chill time. Now
well,
for
you're
the
not
batter,
baking it.
We need 1 1/4 cup of flour. Teaspoon of floof powder. 1/4 cup of sugar. 1 cup of moo juice. Then a tablespoon of vegetable oil. You don't want any lumps. I fry with peanut oil because it's correct. Are you ready to die? Yeah, me too. 1, 2, 3. Man.
Oh.
This looks incredible.
That looks so good. Oh my god, that looks so good.
I don't know what else you want me to say.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like perfection. Like, how do you interpret that other than that looks like perfection? That looks outstanding. I don't even like cookie dough. Like, I am going to be the contrarian here. I think cookie dough is really overrated. If I'm going to have cookie dough, I'm just going to make a damn cookie. I don't like eating cookie dough. That looks really good, though.
Eggnog from 1895.
Oh, I love eggnog. Eggnog is so good. Eggnog, I know that that's another one that's like people are on the fence about, right? Some people hate it, some people love it. Eggnog is so good. It's so good until it's not, right? Like if you have one glass of egg or one mug of eggnog with some alcohol in it, amazing, right? You have 2, still pretty good. You have 3, you feel sick.
So eggnog is already one of my favorite things, but homemade is supposedly 10 times better.
Yes, homemade eggnog is amazing.
By golly. We start with the yolks of 5 egg geese. Save the whites. Then we whisk in sugar. Doesn't tell me how much, so I'm going to use a cup. It's Christmas. Yes, I will be calling this eggy nog. Now we add 2 cups of moo juice and 1 cup of heavy cream to a cauldron. Sorry, my cauldron's in the dishwasher. 7 in 4 cloves. Fire! We're scalding, not boiling. Then we temper the eggs with about half of this mixture. And then back you go. Low heat until thick. Done. Strain it. Not today, cloves. Egg whites. Come on. Time for mixing.
Yeah, so that's the greatest thing about the stand mixer, because I've said this before. I did a baking stream a few months ago, and I had to make stiff peaks, and whipping your own whipped cream is the most horrendous experience ever. But I have whipped cream, sorry. Whipping egg whites or making whipped cream, either thing. Both are terrible experiences.
A touch of sugar. Fold. Nutmeg. Now, if you're not comfortable with raw egg whites, you can heat this whole mixture back up, but it won't be as fluffy. To the fridge. Oh, it's thick. More nutmeg.
And he's in heaven.
Oh, dear. This has ruined all other eggnog. Delicious. It's life-changing.
My uncle makes homemade eggnog every year, and it is just, it's so good. It's so good.
A fake apple pie from the Great Depression. This recipe was sent to me by Herbert Hoover Feet Picks. Something for everybody. Instead of apples, this recipe uses Ritz crackers. Sugar! Water! Fire! Stir until disgusting. Prep time! Oh, you crafty. Are you 9 inches yet?
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Crafty. Are you 9 inches yet? Said 15-year-old me. Lemon juice. I wish. 40 Ritz crackers.
40 Ritz crackers?
What am I supposed to expect? Suppose it's better than eating your offspring. Do I call the police or a priest? A priest. Honey, there's been an accident. Bake at 4:30.
I'm bleeding.
Oh boy.
Whoa. Wait, what?
It tastes like apples. We found the first good one. Fried crackers from the Great Depression. These are also called cracker flitters. What is a flitter? I don't know. Nobody knows. We begin with 2 sleeves of saltines. America's favorite sawdust squares. Cover and soak these with water. Granny's favorite soggy crackers. Now we squeeze and drain it.
Oh
Imagine
no!
cooking this and trying to tell yourself that everything is okay. 1 egg. Now we heat up a skillet with what? A suitable amount of lard. There is no suitable amount of lard. Never has been, never will be. Fire! And then
He has a very personal vendetta against lard and margarine.
we just try not to die. How long does sadness take to cook? And finally, we douse in maple syrup.
Don't tell me that's good. What?
That is surprisingly good. Seriously, give this a try. You don't
I was gonna say, I'm gonna try that. Why does that work?
have to use lard, though. Ginger nuts from 1906. Now, I've never seen a ginger nut, but I assume it's roughly the same as a blonde or a brunette.
Oh my god, I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. Yes, I would assume a ginger nut's the same way that a blonde does.
Fittingly, these nuts begin with a good pound of flour, pinch of salt, 3 ounces of sugar, teaspoon of soda, and ½ an ounce of ginger. Ooh, you're gonna be spicy. Now to a saucepan, we add 4 ounces of butter, plus ½ pound of any treacle. I would call that excessive. Fire! Once the butter is melted, we add ½ a gill of milk. What is a gill?
What?
A gill is 32 fluid drams. Oh, thank God for that. When has the avoirdupois system helped
A gill is drams? What?
anybody? We need a 1/4 cup. Moon juice! In we go! Mix. We knead in flour until stiff. Come on! Roll to balls. And what are balls without nuts? Bake in a quick oven for about 7 minutes. That'll be 400 degrees. Hello?
I mean, in this case, the nut was stored in the ball.
Okay. I see you. It is a snapless, rotund ginger snap. It's like what ginger beer is to ginger ale, just in cookie form. Good cooking. A gooey butter cake from the 19...
Ooh, gooey butter cake's pretty fire. Okay, gooey butter cake's pretty fire. My coffee partnership actually has a cold brew that's flavored like these.
30s. We start with a cup of flour, 1/3 cup of butter, paper, dash of sugar. You have to look like breadcrumbs. I don't know what type of bread y'all eating. We then press this into a square pan and cast aside, which is dead people talk for put it away. Time for the filling. That's the perfect name for a baking-themed OnlyFans. First is 3/4 cup butter, 1/4 cup of sugar. Butter go butter. 1 egg. This thing's popping. Now we alternate between adding a cup of flour and, because it's the 1930s, 2/3 of a cup of evaporated milk. Flour.
Oh.
1/4 cup corn syrup. We'll be done by Christmas. Nilla. Whoops. That's a lot of Nilla. I'm guessing the flavor profile is going to be cholesterol. Pounded sugar. 350 for a ½ hour.
Yeah, exactly. That face is everything right
Some
there.
dishes aren't amazing, but they are innately comforting. And this is a prime example, like a hug on a plate. Wow. The Great Northern Nut Loaf from...
It completely tempered his personality. He's like, wow, I feel warm.
49. Now, I'm not sure what makes this loaf northern. I just picked it because it has the most nuts I've ever seen. And I've seen my fair share. We start with nuts, which is unusual. In my experience, that normally comes last. We need 1 pound of mixed pecans and filberts. Filberts are hazelnuts, and they are my second favorite nut. My favorite does...
I've heard of filberts. I never knew what they were. So I've learned something today. Thank you, Dylan.
Doesn't come from a plant. Now we need to flour the nuts with 3/4 cup of flour. You know, I do prefer them defloured. A pinch of salt. Only a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. This is not going to rise, which is always embarrassing. Into a separate bowl goes 3/4 cup of brown sugar. 3 eggs. Beat with a whisk. Never tried that before. Sounds painful. Finally, a ½ pound of dried figs. You know, fruit and nuts do go hand in hand. I would know. I'm both. Combine the two. It's literally just nuts. 300 for 80.
He's on something in this one. He has made more innuendos in this short than like in the entire compilation so far. I relate to being a fruit and nuts.
Minutes. Done.
Ooh.
Whoa. It's a great taste, nice and moist, but very crunchy. If you hate nuts, I can see you spitting it out. Not me. Ham and bananas hollandaise. Well,
I hit C again. I learned from the last time. My nail accidentally clipped C. All right, see, I knew. This sounds horrible.
welcome to the 70s. 4 bananas. Peeled. Whoopsie. Boiled ham. Now we need to individually wrap the bananas. This was still the Cold War after all. Fear of communist bananas was at an all-time high. Bake it. Seems logical. 10 minutes. Hollandaise. Oh boy. Eggy. Just the yolk. Water and lemon juice. Very hot butter. Careful. Very slowly. Cayenne. My bananas are baked. The 70s. Sponsored by the color beige. Oh boy. Huh? Sweet, it's meaty, it's salty, it's uncomfortably appetizing.
What?
A Hoover stew from the Great Depression. Now it stands to reason that this dish was named after the 31st President of the United States, a vacuum. This was the economical way to feed your family during a time where people were pinching pennies until Lincoln wept. Water! Salt! Fire! In goes a pound of macaroni. Now we slice a pound of hot dogs as thin as coins. Ah yes,
as thin
brings
as
back memories.
Brings back
Drain the pasta.
No!
Into a large pot goes 2 pounds of stewed tomatoes, pound of canned corn and the juice. Add in the hot dogs and simmer for 10 minutes. Dylan, you say, did people not have...
I'm sorry. I didn't hear a word he said after the brings back memories aspect. I think that was the most off the rails thing he has ever done.
Now we slice a pound of hot dogs as thin as coins. Ah, yes. Brings back memories.
I hope that you all can understand what this innuendo is, because it's a lot less direct than you think. I mean, it's direct, but I feel like the bulk of you are like, yeah, I get it. It's a dick joke. There's more.
Time to drain the pasta. Into a large pot goes 2 pounds of stewed tomatoes, pound of canned corn and the juice. Add in the hot dogs and simmer for 10 minutes. Dylan, you say, did people not have spices in the Great Depression? No, they didn't. Refer to depression. This is so much food.
It's fine, probably. Right, like, in theory, this shouldn't be bad. There's nothing in it that's bad.
Yep. Is it bland? Yes. Is it bad? No. Especially when you consider that all of this cost me $6. Impressive. Ice cream cone cupcakes from 79. Now you'd think that ice cream cones are for ice cream, but nope. This is the 70s. We do what we want. We start with a half cup of vegetable oil, a cup of sugar, teaspoon of vanilla, and one.
That was not a
then
teaspoon
you
of
whisk
vanilla.
vigorously.
That was not a
For the
teaspoon
dry
of vanilla.
ingredients, we have a cup and a half of flour, half cup of cocoa, and a teaspoon of floof soda, baking soda. Then we alternate adding our dry ingredients with a half cup of buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, you could always buy it. Mix. And finally, a half cup of hot water. Oh boy. We fill these up about 2/3 of the way, and they need to have a flat bottom, like me. Get it? 350 for about 30 minutes. Hello. For the buttercream, we just beat a half cup of soft butter.
This is such a clever
slowly
idea. I
adding a cup of
love
powdered
this.
sugar, and some vanilla. Yes, you can make buttercream by hand. I do everything by hand. I'm very lonely.
It's probably great. Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably perfect.
Look at that. It's just a really tasty, fun idea.
Yeah, I love that
An
so much.
impossible
I want to make that. All right, this will be the last one of the Dylan for this video. We'll watch the Impossible Pie.
Pie from 1969. Some things are naturally impossible, like perpetual motion or happy AT&T customers. But apparently this pie makes itself. First,
Does anybody still use AT&T? Actual question.
you get your blender. It's good to be back. Then simply add a half cup of butter, cup of sugar, 2 cups of moo juice, oh god, 4 eggs, cup of shredded coconut, half a cup of flour, and
this is gonna be delicious.
Now we blend. Cause why not? Let's hope
This
doesn't kill the
sounds like
blender.
it's gonna be really good.
And that's it. While this bakes, it apparently forms its own crust and layers. I have
Really?
my doubts. 350 for an hour. Done. Enough. Cool. And then to the fridge. Hello.
Yeah, I bet it's good.
Impossible. It did it. Formed its own pie. Coconut and vanilla. How did that work? You crazy old people.
I'll make this one.
Leftover.
Well, now we have leftover bread pancakes is going to be the start of the next section when we do that. I need to get his cookbook. I feel like I should get the Dylan cookbook. I know that it exists, so I feel like I should get it. Oh my goodness. Is it on Amazon? Let me go see. Amazon. It probably isn't. It probably is on his own storefront. No, it's there. Baking across America. Oh, cool. He has 2 of them. Wait. He has 2 of them. Wait. Which one should I put on Throne? Should I put on the baking of yesteryear first? I'm gonna put the first one up first, I think. Let me put these up. He also, yeah, I'm just gonna put these up. That's really cool. I actually love that. Okay, add. Put it on, I am putting them on Throne. Don't you worry. I am absolutely putting those on Throne. Those are cool. They will also get used. Add. Okay, cool. All right, I added both. Both Throne, yeah. I'm excited for those. Those are cool. That's really neat. He's such a happy little goober. I love him. He finds like the most, and he's not even American technically, right? Like, doesn't he live in, doesn't he come from, what was it? I forgot what it was called. Bermuda, right? Isn't he in Bermuda or something? I love you. And I would love to see when you do a cooking stream and spin a wheel what to bake. I would do that. So I've done a couple of different baking streams before. Like I've baked pizza from scratch. I've baked bee sting cake. I baked bread on stream a bunch of times. I made cookies. The next baking stream is a cooking stream. I'm making beef Wellington, so it's like a full 5-hour stream. He's Bermudian, yeah. But yeah, no, so he does live in America, but he's from Bermuda. Gotcha. That makes sense. You know, TJ, I think of that every time. Every time we talk about Bermuda, I'm just like, Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama. I love the Dylan videos. They're so damn good. They're so damn good. All right. While I could probably churn out more today, as far as videos for YouTube, I'm thinking I'm going to call it so I can get some editing done. He also has the demon quiche in yesteryear. He does. We're making the demon quiche. And I'm going to prove to Edom that it's not bad and that Edom is just a potato. Let the improbable recipes be. Thank you, Warvaz. What the hell? Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. What the heck? Save your money, though. You've been really kind to me. Not gonna lie, I kind of dislike this style of overactive and over-animated way of talking and creative content. You're welcome to feel that way. I find it fun. I find it fun for short content. It's not built for long form, but it is built for short form, which is why I only watch it in 10-minute segments. Like I watch what we watch, like six-ish shorts basically that we pause and interact with each time, and then we move on to other content. I try to cover everything. Oh no, I doubt you will like it. I don't think I will dislike it. Oh, I do not doubt you will like it. It's gonna be fine. Like, the thing is, my logic is really simple with it. It's just the difference of what it was that he did in the recipe was that he just made it too thick. If you made it thin, it's gonna be fine. I really just think that you're a big baby back bitch when it comes to this. I really, really do. Like, you die on this hill of something that's not that bad. Like, it's not that bad. It is literally a savory cheesecake. It is not that bad. It is all ingredients that are not offensive. If you hate pickles, sure, but I will still say it's not that offensive. Oh no, Tetra's not a one-trick reactor. How dare. I know, right? How dare. Then again, I hate TikTok and scrolling through shorts as well, but as long as others find it entertaining, I mean, that's kind of the point. I cover content that a lot of people don't like because I jump from thing to thing, right? I start off with Warhammer. Most of my subscribers, ironically enough, are not Warhammer fans. Most of my active viewers in the streams are Warhammer fans. But most people who watch my long form are not, or watch my shorts or my long form reactions are actually not Warhammer fans. Then I also have people who don't want to watch the history content. I have people who don't want to watch the animal content. I have people who don't want to watch the short form content. It's the nature of the beast. I try to cover as many topics as I possibly can. Thank you for the stream. It's been fun. Thank you. I don't really watch shorts either. I mean, I watch YouTube shorts sometime. I make shorts occasionally. I have to make a short now. I just don't know how on earth I'm going to film it right now, because I do need to get I don't know where I'm going to find the time to do it. It has pickle juice in it. Pickle juice is very much acidic. When combined with the cheese, it makes it taste spoiled. Yeah, but that's why you don't cover the shit in pickle juice. But like, you say that pickle juice and cheese don't work or having acidic with cheese. You literally combine acidic things with cheese all the time. Like, if you have a charcuterie board, you have pickles or you have gherkins and you have cheese on said charcuterie board. Like, if you're baking pickle juice in with it, then yeah, that's going to end up causing it to be, like, if you're putting too much of it, I'm sure it's not going to be bad. Watch for this streamer, then you're always happy. Very true. Anyway, watch Secret Level when you have time for yourself. I'm assuming that's the Warhammer episode. Very few shorts creators I watch. Please, people, please learn to cook. Tomatoes have acid? Yeah. I understand. Heard of burgers? That's what I'm trying to say. I'm like, you combine acid with cheese all the time. Like, that's what I don't understand. It's not gonna make it taste spoiled. When you do the demon quiche, do to the U version. Yeah. That's a really good idea, Wizard. Thank you. I will do it that way, because I have a feeling if I do it the Dylan way, it's gonna be off-putting because the ratio. Because like the crust is what makes it a lot more doable. Because if you add crunch to it with savoriness and all that, it's gonna be a lot better than if you have like 3/4 of it being just this layer of cheese. The Pac-Man secret level is also surprisingly good, I bet. If you have cheese and pickles on burgers all the time. Yeah, that's true. It's not the acid that makes it taste bad, it's the vinegary taste. Yeah, well then you would just have to make a version with a little bit less of the pickle juice then. But again, vinegar doesn't off-put cheese either, really. I mean, then again, wait, why, Apocalypse, why? Well, thank you for the 5 memberships. Why? Why? Thank you very much, Goober. I appreciate it. Absolute potato. Absolute potato. Shortcake, you were just purring all day today. You were just purring all day. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care, Tetra, Yura, and BB. BB is sleeping. Yura is watching the BB. I'm going to go edit. Then I'm going to go order something to eat. And then I'm going to go take a nap. Could you possibly do a Vanos reaction? Send it to my mods and they'll vet it for me. I care about the Armored Core part of Secret Level. Man, I miss playing Armored Core. That was a fun game. Just so you guys know, I'm a pro Armored Core player, all right? I beat Armored Core without even knowing that there were upgrades. I beat the game and somebody told me that there were upgrades after the fact on stream and people didn't believe me. I went to the front page and you still saw that little indicator next to the tab to show I never clicked it. That was a fun time. That was a fun time. Accidental level 1 Souls challenge. Yet not only that, I beat the final boss in a short enough time that it fit into one Twitch clip. Because I thought there'd be a phase 2, and I killed him so quickly that I didn't get a phase 2. Most people are just scared of trying new things. Ask any chef what he thinks of pineapple pizza and be amazed. Pineapple on pizza is not that good. And chefs will say this because they don't want to be polarizing. The reality is pineapple on pizza is a very mediocre thing. It's not that it's the worst thing in the world. It's not that it's the best thing in the world. It's just a very whatever thing. It's like when you put mango with sushi. It's not exactly what you want to go and have, but some people will swear by it. And that's totally fine, and I respect that choice. Even as a New Yorker, I'm not going to put my nose up in the air and be like, you're completely wrong for liking pineapple on pizza. I don't like it myself, but it's not the greatest thing on earth. I do think that people who like it probably like it like a 7 out of 10, but they act like it is an 11 out of 10 and the greatest thing, and I think they do that because they're innately contrarians. Because people on the internet like to fight, they like to argue. I don't really think that most people, I know some people will always be like this, I don't think most people will go die on a hill and say that fruit on pizza is the best thing ever. I think that's only because of the advent of the internet. Wrong. It's delicious and has perfect balance of sweet, sour, and salty. I respectfully disagree. I respectfully disagree. I've had it. It's whatever. It doesn't make the pizza inedible, but it does not improve the pizza. My logic is pretty simple. If a slice of pizza with nothing on it is better than the topping, then I don't really want to go and get the topping. So pineapple on pizza does not improve the base pizza. In my opinion. You know? In my opinion. It's almost like people have different... Correct. That's why I say, like for example, Hawaiian pizza, while it is still not my preference, is better than plain pineapple on pizza because the salt content from the pineapple offsets the sweetness of the salt content of the ham offsets the pineapple. It's still not better than a plain slice of pizza, in my opinion. However, I understand people liking these things. I'm not a fan of pineapple on pizza, but it's fine. I do like caramelized onions and smoky ham and honey. That's fine. It's always a matter of taste anyway, but it's like my top 3. That's fine. That's fine. I'm going to also take a shot in the dark and assume that you don't live in like a pizza capital. And I don't mean that in like a disrespectful way. I just kind of noticed that people, this is an observation. Again, this is not anything that's true or fact or anything like that. Just my observation in my time as a streamer. I tend to notice that people who like the weird toppings on pizza come from places where pizza is not like a really not the thing, right? Usually pineapple on pizza people are not New Yorkers. They're not from Chicago. They're not from Detroit. They're not from Italy. They're not, you know, like they're not from any of those locations. They usually will end up being like from like Wisconsin. They'll be like, oh yeah, I love my pineapple on pizza, or from the Netherlands. Oh, I love my tuna on pizza. You know, that is kind of what I see. That is kind of what I see. Again, that's not inherently a bad thing. I'm just saying that is something that I've noticed, right? Hawaiian is, yeah, it's Canadian, yeah. Me, I tend to do default to pepperoni pizza. Like the Italian love of French fries on pizza. I mean, that's not really the topic, what I mean with this at hand, but I mean, like, I'm just saying is that, like, you can go, look, you can go to Italy and get any random topping on a pizza. You can go to New York and get any random topping on pizza. Usually those are just because people want to try something different. None of those are like, oh, this is my go-to, right? Like, I've had French fries on pizza. I've had potato skins on pizza. I've had octopus on pizza. These are things I try because I love pizza and I'll try anything. They're not things I'm like, oh, you know, I really want to go and have my scungili pizza. Oh, I really want to have my calamari pizza. You know, like that's not inherently like, you know, my go-to. Tuna on pizza I actually like, as long as it isn't high quality pizza. But having a pizza in Italy, yeah, no, tuna on those does not belong. Well, that's what I mean, right? Like, so like, I honestly, as a New Yorker, I think I'm pretty lax on the pizza debate. Like, I do have my opinions, of course. Like, I do think that a Brooklyn pizza is the best pizza. Like, I do love a Neapolitan from Brooklyn. But it's just different, right? Like, the only time I'll argue with people is Chicago pizza, right? Like, it's still good, right? But it's not pizza. It's a cake. it's not a pizza pie. It's a pizza cake. Nothing beats a classic Neapolitan pizza, but I'm a fan of trying new toppings. I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I love trying new toppings, but like, if I'm gonna go for example, if somebody comes to visit me to New York, right? I'm gonna take you to a place and I'm gonna make you get a regular slice of pizza. You can get whatever you want after that, but I'm gonna make you go and have a regular slice of pizza, maybe with pepperoni. But I'm not gonna go and be like, oh yeah, we gotta go to this random place. It's your first time in New York. You gotta get this pizza that's just covered in everything under the sun. You need to have this pizza that's covered in the chef's foreskin. You know, like, it needs to be something that is special at its core before you start adding all the you know, the extra stuff. As a European, New York pizza is also weird. So see, that makes a lot of sense. See, the fact that you're a European answers everything for me, Odd. That tracks with what I've been saying. Because like, a lot of my friends who are from Europe that are not in Italy have very obtuse pizza opinions. And that's not meaning bad, just they're very different pizza opinions. First time any pizza place gets a margarita, if they can do it, if they can do that, they can do it. Correct, yeah. Chicago deep dish is not Chicago pizza, it's a casserole. Yeah. I don't want to have the debate about Chicago, but I agree with you on that one. The Chicago pizza, again, like, whenever I argue with people, it's like, I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying is, like, people will argue that it's the best pizza in the world when inherently it's like, there's nothing about it that's pizza other than like the fact that it's cheese, meat, and sauce. Because it is literally like eating a cake. Like, you could argue like, oh, well, if Chicago pizza is a pizza, then lasagna's a pizza because it has all the same ingredients. Just instead of it being a bread, the carb is layers of pasta. It sounds like a Dylan special. The force. I love margarita pizza. Margarita pizza is really good. But yeah, no. I feel like if you polled people with, like, their favorite kind of pizza, I feel as you start going into like Scandinavian countries, it starts getting weird. And I feel like if you go into like Midwest states, it gets really weird, right? If you polled New Yorkers or you polled Italians, you're not gonna ever have like a list of top 5 pizzas, right? Or top 3 pizzas. Let's say top 3, because people always get weird when they start branching out. But like, let's say they're just like, let's say that you did a poll, you asked everybody what their number 1 pizza was, and you listed the top 3 that came back. You are not going to get pineapple or any weird one in New York or in Italy. If you go to places like Denmark, you're gonna find weird stuff. You're gonna find like doner kebab pizza. You go to the Netherlands, you're gonna find that canned tuna pizza. You're gonna go to like some state and have like whatever pizza. That is gonna be what you end up having. Ik mik meinen Flammenkuchen. Is it Kuchen or Kuchen? Chicago Deep is also the best pizza to short circuit Italians because it's not pizza. It's not pizza. I always preface my opinion with food with I'm a very picky eater. That being said, I love that. I love that for you. No, my take on it's really simple. Like, I respect everybody liking certain things, but like when the thing is people don't say like, oh, I really like pineapple on pizza. They always say like, no, pineapple on pizza is the best. And it's like, you're arguing from a position of being one of the, like, you're arguing from a position that is a contrarian position. Like, yeah, some people will like it the most. Of course. Of course. Some people say golf is their favorite sport. It doesn't mean that it is the majority's opinion. Kuchen, cake or pie. Flammkuche is in pizza. I'll effing riot. My favorite topping on pizza are fries. I'm Swedish. Again, completely tracks. I'm from Mexico. We put avocado in sushi and we deep fry it. So, ja, ja, ja. I love you. I love you. Oh my God. Yes, Inquisitor. It's that one. No, like, the weirdest pizza that's popular in New York right now, I don't know if it's still as popular, but there was a little kick because of influencers. I honestly, I do dislike food influencers sometimes, just because they skew perception to start really bad trends. So like hot honey is not that great. It's not bad, but people act like it's like liquid gold. And like even in New York, hot honey on pizza has become really common, or it was really common. And it's, I don't want my pepperoni pizza with hot honey. I don't want that. On vacations in Athens, Greece, they put lamb meat on a pizza, and I have no idea why. It was genuinely one of the best tasting things I've ever eaten. I have no idea. No, but that's what I'm saying. I understand that. I understand that. Look, I'm sure if I go to some bougie place, like Lurk keeps on talking about the $1,000 pizza, and I go and get that truffle pizza, I'm sure it's banging. I'm sure it's great. It's not something I'm going to go get all the time. Food YouTube has been Mr. Beastified? No, it's been Nick Giovanni-fied, who is basically the food Mr. Beast. He doesn't do what Mr. Beast does, but like, Nick Giovanni skews the food sphere on YouTube, I think, in my opinion. I don't dislike him. I like his content, but he definitely has skewed the creator sphere on it. Food YouTube has been, just no. Why on earth would you slap liquid sugar on your savory dish? There's pizza with salmaki in Finland, but I don't do that. There are some really trashy pizzas in Poland. Some of them are really good, and well, that's the thing, right? That's what I'm trying to say about all this, because people, like I said, people argue the pizza topic really seriously, but there's no reason to. But the simple question that I always ask is like, where are you, like, what area are you from? Because it explains a lot, and that doesn't mean that your opinion's any less valid. Like, if you tell me that you're from Finland, right? It doesn't mean your opinion's any less valid on what you think is a good pizza, because what matters is what you like. But I will say that if you're usually the really wild pizza takes are not from areas that are known for pizza. Right? Like, so things that I know are gonna be really high tier where I am. I'm not gonna say the best, because if I say the best, people get defensive. But like, you're gonna be really hard pressed to find a better bagel than New York. You're gonna have a really hard time finding better pastrami than New York, and you're gonna have a really hard time finding better pizza than New York. It just really is that way. You can argue all you want, and that's fine. I respect that, and your opinion is totally valid to me. I just will say that it's very hard to find outliers that are better than at those things, right? Like, I'm not gonna go and say I'm gonna find the best barbecue anywhere outside of like the South, right? Like, you're not gonna find better barbecue than Texas, Kentucky, Tennessee. You know, you're not gonna find better barbecue than those places, right? You're not gonna find better Cajun food than you know, Nolans. You're not gonna find better Tex-Mex than South Texas. You know, it's just hard to. It is just hard to. I can't believe that the VOD is gonna end up members only because the poster. I don't think this is a bad discussion. I think I'm being pretty respectful of everybody's taste. Okay, I did a bit of thinking on the best pizza is a Napoli puttanesca. That's totally fair. The best pizza will always be the one you grew up with. I don't know. I spent a lot of my youth in Texas, and I don't think that I would ever have a Texas pizza. I don't really like the Texas pizzas. Although I do miss the Mexican food in Texas. I miss the Mexican food there so much. New York, we have good, like I said, we have pretty much good everything in the city, but it does not compete with Tex-Mex. Oh my God, I miss Mexican food from Texas so much. I'm more worried about the comments. I'm sure that I'll have some head-ass people, but that's okay. It's okay. Like I said, I don't think I could be more fair and be like, yeah, I respect your opinion. How dare you respect my opinion? No, just a regular pizza. You can just get a regular pizza in Texas, just not the same quality. It just doesn't taste as good. Like, it's the same for most states, right? Like, I don't know what it is. I think it's the cancer in the water of New York. I think it's all the cancer they pump into the water. So that way, I'm kidding, obviously. But like, I don't know. Just the dough here is really good. The dough here is really good. A lot of successful pizza places that actually like are in Jersey, I know bring the water in from New York, which I don't understand why or how. Like, I don't get it. I don't know what it is in it. But yeah, no, they say that. Look, they actually say it's the water. I don't get it. Wait, if New York isn't real, then New York style pizza is still a thing. Okay. On that note, we're going to wrap up. I love you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night. I will see you guys on Twitch tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to be doing. Maybe we'll do some model building. Maybe we'll do some gaming. I'm not terribly sure yet. We'll figure it all out as we go. I love and appreciate each and every one of you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. If you have the time, please go hype up or use the hype option on my Nuzlocke video on YouTube. I'd love to have the excuse to post more of them. It's a lot of work to get that stuff set up to post on here. So I really do appreciate it. I'm going to try getting some recording done for a short. I'm going to try getting some editing done. But yeah, thank you guys again. You're all wonderful. And see you later.